have recorded all that other stuff.
Yeah, fuck it. My face is a space, bitch.
Uh-huh.
Hey, that's how we're starting. You got a drink? Because I got a drink.
I don't have a drink. I could probably use one, but I'll just get up and get one in a minute. We're waiting on Jason still?
Yeah, do I bother to keep recording this?
Would you be able to get me permission to record? Because I have it all set up to do it where I can grab stuff.
I don't know how. Where are you in this?
Let's see. Okay, under participants, you would pick me, and then I guess there would be something.
Where the hell is participants at?
Like right in the middle of the bottom.
Oh, wait, allow record.
Thank you.
Oh, Jason is here.
Cool. Okay, yep, there we go. Now we're recording.
Hi, Jason.
What background is that? Is that your own? Oh, he's not connected yet.
He's connecting his audio.
I got it.
Okay.
All right. Hey, Jason, I allowed you to record. Feel free to do that so we all have a copy, as is usual.
Okay.
That way, if any of us fuck something up. How do you like my space face?
I'm like, there's something wrong with your screen there.
Well, I normally do this weird green screen camera thing, but because I kept switching with it, it has no fucking clue what my background is with the light behind me. So now it's decided my face is the background.
Huh.
So it's only when I move my face that it actually goes to the screen.
Yeah.
That's so fucking stupid. All right.
Just give me a second. I gotta be a prospective NASA student.
Wait, am I supposed to be like meditating or something?
No, you just.
Oh, it lost my face thing. Wait, go back to my
there you
real. Yeah, see, I like my face weird. We're having way too much fun with this. I haven't even started drinking yet, but I have a drink.
Okay.
I have my Pepsi.
All right. Aaron, either go get a drink or pretend to have a drink because I'm going to do a toast to open this.
All right. Well, give me a second.
Wait,
Then we
I'll
can make
go
it a
get
demarcation line for you to start your recording again.
Just a second.
All right. I'm going to walk away for just a second, too.
I'll sit here and contemplate. Shit, now it's on.
Sorry, I have food on boiling. I'm trying to cook dinner for the week.
Yeah, I know, because they're almost dead.
What's that?
Michael's got the controllers.
Oh,
Here.
I see.
Just put these in the garbage.
No, you gotta start saying Amazon.
No, Amazons aren't rechargeable.
Did Ryan hang himself and turn into a skeleton?
I have no idea what he's doing. He says he's got food going for the week. But
yeah, he does that.
I do who now? I walk away? Go fuck yourself? I hope you're going to put a censor rating on this.
I don't really care.
No, I meant Aaron.
Oh, maybe.
All right. You guys all recording?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to use this as our starting point. All right. Let's open this with a toast.
With my mason jar that you can't even see.
blends in with space.
I'm waiting for you guys to shut the hell up so I can do the toast.
Go ahead.
All right. Here's to old friends, sometimes lovers, lost causes, and occasional jovial drunkenness. Here's to vices and virtues, to living without apologies or regrets, to breaking in order to heal, to the lost who have given up on finding a way home. Here's to survival. Drink up, people. You only live once. Eat slow. Live hard. Every moment like you mean it, or you might as well be dead. I almost forgot to actually take a drink.
Shut up and drink your sake.
That was only because you were trying to rate me drunk.
Uh-huh.
I kind of had to mute myself because of Weiner here.
Hi, Vinny.
Yep. Hello, person.
And Uncle Aaron says hi. And there's Ryan. That's Vincent. Yeah, this is what I meant by when I said I'm gonna have the kids. So don't be surprised if I have to yell once or twice because they're here.
Yeah, Dante's asleep Dante's asleep on the other side of this wall.
What?
I haven't been able to have overnight with Xander since this whole thing started.
Really?
Yeah, he lives with his fucking grandparents, and it's the only way I can even get them to let me have contact because I still work with the public.
I know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they got stuck with me because when this whole thing started, that's where they were. So.
Yeah, and if there was some kind of problems with Xander or Aaron or somebody having symptoms, then yeah, they'd be stuck here too.
Mm. Yeah,
Yes.
that was Alyssa had symptoms. she felt like what they said that it starts out as.
Self-quarantine for 2 weeks because when this shit started, they started closing things down. I was taking my time to go to Ingenuity, and I had Sheena's kid Aiden with me, who always helps me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I was with him on a Thursday, and I come in on Sunday to work at Ingenuity, and I get a call that somebody at the school was exposed, and he started having symptoms. So, well, fuck, I just saw the kid 2 days ago. God damn it.
Mm-hmm.
So, he was fine. His symptoms were extremely mild. He quarantined in his bedroom. His mom was sick a month beforehand, and she swears that's what it was. So she's more thinking she gave it to him because she works with the public.
Yeah.
And they're not even sure if that's what any of them had because at that point, they weren't testing you unless you were a severe case.
They still aren't.
So
He's
I
got the last
self-quarantined for 2 weeks, and I
told
never
you to
showed
share
a
it.
symptom. But
Give it to him.
I'm also the type that, with my immune system being so strong, I could carry it the whole time and never show a symptom.
Yeah, they were saying that some people are asymptomatic. You have to be
I
careful.
would likely be that type. And I couldn't visit my parents because my dad has an autoimmune disease, and my mother is missing her fucking spleen.
Mm-hmm.
And she's had heart attacks and all that good old people shit.
Yeah, I had to do the quarantine thing last week for half a week because they called me up. They're like, hey, just so you know, on the 27th, you gave somebody a ride that was later diagnosed positive. So we need you to just stay low, see what's going on. But this was
Of course, they
like
didn't
a
offer
week
you
and a
money
half
for that,
later.
right?
Yes, they did. They gave me a bonus,
Oh.
paid for everything for a while. Then they're like, we're just going to deactivate you until the 2
Oh.
weeks is up.
Then this must be Lyft, not Uber.
Yeah, it's left.
Yes.
Yeah, but they did that. There was only 6 days left, and I called Tracy. I'm like, apparently I was exposed a week and a half ago, and I should have been quarantining now, but they just told me. So it's just like, well, great. I'm immunocompromised. Brittany's immunocompromised. So now what? And Dante's been doing the back and forth the whole time. We called his doctor and everything. They're like, if nobody's showing symptoms, then there's really nothing we can do. We wouldn't even test you if it weren't bad. So it's like, yay.
Yeah, I know.
So the
Jason,
contact tracing isn't the greatest.
Yeah, is that the Jason? Is that your like green screen camera stuff, or do you have some effect that makes it look like you're smoking black stuff off of you?
Oh, that's my green screen.
Okay, I don't know. I dig it. It looks like it's intentional.
It's the shadow because I have the light on.
What is that background? One of your own?
Yeah, I took a picture over in the at Willoughby Park down the street.
Cool.
And where Chagrin River Park. Will you stop whining? Oh, this is gonna be lovely to put on YouTube.
Welcome to this episode that I call Tintin Quarantino, and we can see the realities of what happens.
Yep. Well, too bad.
Aaron said "fuck it" and just went to space.
Yeah,
Jason's like, I'm at the river. Everything's calm. I'm not going to murder this kid.
Now, for my Twitch streams, I use a combination of this background as well as like all different sorts. I have one for Squire's Castle. I also have one for. I also downloaded a lot of pictures I have yet to use. I'm thinking, will you stop whining? Yeah, I know. There was only enough for one of you, for one for each of you. Let's stop whining. But I downloaded. There's new artwork for Masters of the Universe, Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain.
Oh,
So
is
I'm
that
using
the Kevin Smith one?
Yes.
Yep,
So-
I've heard about it, but I'm not much of a Masters fan to like look into it.
Yeah,
I just heard on Kevin Smith's podcast.
They offered up some backgrounds if you wanted to use it with a green screen. So I'm
Neat.
gonna put those in up probably within the next couple of weeks.
What the fuck? Like Mark Hamill's one of the voices in that too.
Yeah. I think he does Beastman.
Cool. And he, of course, Kevin snuck Jason Mewes in as Stinkor.
Yeah, of course. Vincent, stop whining. No.
Aaron,
Yeah.
I guess we should do like a real quickie intro because this will be the first time we're doing it as videos. Like, the 10-second usual.
Yeah.
Like who you
Okay.
are, where to
Yeah,
find you, that stuff.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Ugh.
Am I going first or what?
Go for it, because I've
Might as
already
well.
blabbered too much.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, this is Aaron Kasunic, filmmaker at EIDG Productions. Check us out at facebook.com/EIDG Productions. Woo.
Jason?
I'm Jason. I go by Jasetheviking on Twitch, and that's where you can find me is twitch.tv/Jasetheviking. Also YouTube, Jasetheviking, Facebook, Jasetheviking, and Twitter and Instagram, Jasetheviking, all across the board.
All right. And I am Ryan Kinney. I run an art group called HEYMAN
Yeah,
Productions.
get out of here.
Capital HEYMAN ! Productions. Most active on Facebook, kind of as our website. We also have Instagram and Twitter and all that crap. We just don't use it that much. We have a YouTube channel, and I also run a writing group called Beautiful Blasphemy that makes free books for people and currently hosts a digital open mic every other Thursday. Cool. There we go. That was more than
All
10
right.
seconds.
I think mine might have been like maybe 15.
So I've
So
got.
go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm using this as a bit of a warm up too. On Wednesday, there's another podcast I'm gonna be doing. I'm testing out the space.
The space.
Yeah, BC's got like his third podcast that he's doing. The guy that was the main character in Missing.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got 2 podcasts going right now. One is Behind the Doc, where he interviews documentarians, and then another one where it's just him talking about sports. So it's like, okay.
Documentarian's a word.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
It is?
It is now. It is now.
Yes,
I mean, I'm
documentary
okay with
filmmaker.
it. I just was unaware.
Yes, documentarian's a word. But
Okay.
yeah, so he's starting up a third one. He's like, want to sit around and talk for 30 minutes or 3 hours or however long we go. So,
Okay.
yeah,
So kind of Denny's days with a plot.
I guess. Maybe.
I mean, all podcasts are basically that though now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's so
Um,
many different apps you can go to anymore that have nothing but possible podcast opportunities as well.
Yeah, the one we're going to be using is Zencaster. There's no video to it. So,
Have you checked out any of David Jackson's podcasts?
mm-mm.
He's got a new one. It's called he's had 3 or 4 iterations of podcasts. So his latest one is called Perception Blurred. Why Not? Y'_NOT. His is relatively well polished. He's doing it from home. He sometimes does it with his daughter or his wife. Nerdy topics. But he uses a service called Anchor that sounds like it might be good for you, and it's free. So I don't know. He's got an ad for it in every episode. That might be part of the deal, but I'm sure you can record an Anchor ad.
Yeah. There was one that years ago Josh was telling me about it. It was Welcome to Night Vale. I just started listening to it.
Yeah, I've listened to that for the
That's an
last couple of years.
extremely popular one.
Yeah, I had never
Very
listened
good,
to it
too.
up until like 3 weeks ago. But I just
I,
went down the rabbit hole.
Can't
Yeah.
really pay. I can't. I read a lot of like audiobooks and whatnot. Read. Because I don't have the time to sit down with a book in my hand anymore.
Mhm.
But I listen to a lot of podcasts, but rarely do plot-driven ones. It's
This
normally
one's based in H.P. Lovecraft's world.
like serial killers or other stuff. But if it's a podcast, I for some reason can't get into following it as a plot, even though I listen to audiobooks.
It's not really that it's a plot. It's that it's what happens in this town through a radio program is
Would
what
you
it is.
So
Would you consider that-
is it H.G. Wells I'm thinking of style?
No,
H.P. Lovecraft's story, his universe, and it's kind of like H.G. Wells, similar to his style,
The
because
radio play?
it's not a play. It's
public radio narrating sort of
yeah.
thing. He's telling you a story of what happened.
Okay.
Yeah. The narrator
Ooh.
is Cecil, and he has they have various segments. It'll basically explain what's going. He'll go through the day's events of what's going on, and then like about maybe 25 minutes in, they go to the weather, which is a musical guest, and it's it's various indie artists that'll come in. They record their own songs for it, and it's really good.
Aaron, that just gave me an idea. I've been kind of here and there working on that Analog Renaissance book.
Yeah.
The second Analog Kingdom book, which is going to be a collection of a lot of our unfinished works or bits and snippets of stuff that we'd like to see have more to it.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is obviously the Playground World that Josh came up with.
Yeah.
And you did that like little video newscast. What Jason was just talking about, Welcome to Night Vale, do like a radio kind of a broadcast in that world. Because in that book, I do want to put in a Narf and a boss story.
Mm-hmm.
You could get me, Josh, you, whoever, to voice those characters. And because Narf's not going to talk much, but Narf is that, tech savant genius. He could be the guy that would release it in various formats, including an audio, radio, pirate broadcast.
Yeah, and he talks like Kenny because of the mask.
Maybe. Well, I figured he would be a silent character, kind of like operating the board, and Boss would be the one in which was where I would think I would come in because I've got that cocky asshole like attitude.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you can get the voice to be gripping enough.
And if I can't, that's fine. I'm not like set on it being me. It was just kind of a thought that we could do that. It's a snippet. And if we ever write the story in the book too, we can also include a link. But it's another bit of that story you can forward as like a test on how to do something radio play.
Yeah.
So you can maybe get some more of your content out there, or some stuff that's just in script form right now. You could maybe do some of it as radio play. 'Cause we still have fuck tons of notes from Mobius script. And the Analog Renaissance, that is a ton of the stuff that's on the idea list right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is old Mobius script stuff, because we did so much like thought casting on it.
Yeah.
So it's got potential, and there's tons to play with there. And I always wanted to do a trailer for Reverb, even if it never actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
But do just a trailer for it.
Yeah. Sort of a proof of concept sort of thing.
Yeah, and throw it out there, see who might be interested. If it gets enough interest, or you get enough interest in it, we could throw some more to it together.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who knows what the fuck they're doing, not me. But, I could write 90% of the script, or at least get the basic plot points and have like writer's room style script writing.
Yeah.
That's a little bit what Analog Renaissance is like, is all these different ideas out there, and like I might have an idea, but then another person is going to write it.
Yeah.
Because I never had the time to actually write it.
Well, I mean, you do. You just choose not to use that time. You use it for other
I'm doing the
stuff.
time for arting instead,
Yeah.
which I will get to in a bit. I feel like I want to sneeze, though.
And so a nebula was born.
Oh, Christ. Yeah, God forbid you have like allergies during the rapidly changing seasons and you work with the public.
Yep. Yeah, I wake up every morning and sneeze like 8 times, and then I'm
Fucking
blowing my
destroy
nose
you.
for an hour.
And I'm not allergic to anything that's actually out there in the fucking sky. I swear to God, I'm allergic to pressure changes.
Yeah.
So, for anybody that might be new to this is called Denny's Day because normally we meet once a month at Denny's. And it's normally just kind of like a friends meetup that we had for 6 months before we decided to hit record. And most of the time we just bullshit and say what's going on, and because we're adults, and if you don't schedule things like hanging out with your friends, it doesn't fucking happen anymore. Especially those of us, well, all of us here have kids.
I was weighing the option of whether or not to get Denny's takeout and bring it here into the closet.
Well, Denny's is closed right now.
You're welcome to
They
eat.
still have takeout.
if you
They
want to
stopped
keep the
making-
diner style and make random spoon clinking noises.
No.
Yeah, because
You're like,
the last time I went by Denny's, they were shut down. I didn't know if they were, when they were reopening.
That's just because they're filthy.
yeah, I have a feeling Denny's is the type that didn't have the staff to support such a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one down in Flying J, they shut down during all that was going on, and then their kitchen shut down in Flying J at 10 o'clock. It was like I got out of there and I texted Brittany. I'm like, guess what Denny's is out of now? People.
Oh God! So that's a story we could tell. Is I settled on Denny's is because we don't go there for the food or the service. We go there to get away with being assholes.
Yeah.
It's basically sitting on the seat for 3 hours and just being obnoxious. Not intentionally. I think I'm hilarious, but I'm not to the waitress who gives me that like, "Mom, I've had enough of your shit" look every time.
Oh yeah.
She's
Yeah,
like, this
it's-
fucker again.
Yeah, and I had offered Jenkins to join in with us tonight because he stopped over on Friday night and stayed the night until yesterday. And then he's like, well, I got to go. You need to catch the bus. I'm like,
All right.
okay.
I mean, yeah, whatever. We're basically the core crew of it. I did invite more people, but I'll check my Facebook and see if anyone actually said.
yeah.
Because I went there and I used the link. That's how I got here. So
Yeah, that's how I got here too.
Apparently, my kid cut his hair.
Jason, did you need the password? Because I didn't.
nope.
Nope, neither did I. So Josh gave me host capabilities because he's the one who actually owns this account, so we could record for more than 30 minutes or 40
Okay.
minutes.
Yeah.
So maybe that's part of what didn't get passed along.
Yeah, it is unceremonious when you hit that 40 minutes. I did a short film on here, and it was like for quarantine, and everybody was on here. Once we hit 40 minutes, it just kicked everybody off. It was like, you're out.
All right. Yeah, just to make a quick ad for those listening, this is actually Beautiful Blasphemy's account. We do have a Patreon page if you feel like donating to recoup the money for the monthly cost of this. It's not a whole lot. The end. So back to Denny's Day history. When we started recording it, we actually did, topics just so that we had something to bullshit about from our lives that might be interesting to other people. And as you can see, we rarely actually care about that.
Yeah.
We're certainly not doing this for the fame and fortune and money and women, right?
Yeah.
Or in
That's
some of you
not gonna
guys'
happen.
cases, women and men.
Yeah.
So we always open it with the currents. This whole episode is the currents because we haven't done one of these in like 2-3 months.
Forever. Yeah. Quite a
So
while.
I bullshitted a lot, but Aaron, we'll start with your currents, I guess. Give us the lowdown in the last 3 months, even projects and whatever.
I'm burying myself into what's probably going to end up being a limited series. I'm writing it and designing it and everything. It's called The Collateral. I think I told you about it, Ryan.
You did a little bit, but I knew very few details, and unless I write down what you're telling, is this one of the things I suggested being a short in the Analog King Renaissance?
Yes, to gauge interest, but I could just as easily shoot a pilot.
I'm not to say you can't do both.
Yeah. It's based on, it's like a tech company takes over, the government sort of gets run by this company, sort of like a Chinese autocracy sort of thing. And the main character works for like the enforcers of this group. Everybody has AR implants, and they hack these implants to show everybody, like, in order to hide. Like, you got these people, they take somebody, or somebody's got a mark on them, they take them, everybody else's implants are hacked so that they don't see that person anymore. It's just that sort of thing.
Psychological sci-fi thriller?
Tech noir.
Tech noir.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a genre.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077, similar to that.
Huh.
All right.
I don't know.
So any more projects? Or is that just the one you've been really digging into?
That's the one I've been really digging into. And Jace, I've actually kind of cheated when it came to the world building. It was like I'm like, well, you can have this religion that goes around it to get people to go into because weekly you go into a quarantine to recharge the implants and get debugged and defragged and all that. Well, then there's this religion going in, and I'm like, well, what kind of a religion? Like maybe these enforcers follow a different religion. And I cheated. I'm like, what if, this is supposed to be like 3 generations from us. What if the writing actually takes off on the story we made and they kind of mirror that religion? so it's like,
Okay.
so it's like, okay, so they follow the order of where they're hiding in plain sight, but they hide among like bums and all that. And they just pretend like what you see. It's that sort of philosophy of hiding in plain sight and guiding humanity along the way.
Okay.
So it wasn't
Yeah.
very clear to me how you cheated. This is something you came up with before. You're sticking into it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
All
a
right.
story we've been writing it since we were teenagers, and it never really got anywhere aside from like myself rewriting it 5-6 times. And then what if it takes off?
I'm on the 30th rewrite. So
Yeah.
I've got an imaginary pantheon called Amalgam Mythos. It's basically all of the religions in one that sprang from a fake Mortal Kombat based style video game that I came up with when I was 12.
Mm.
So that's actually something that's turned on my idea list. And because, Analog Renaissance is going to have lots of weird ass shit in there, not just stories, sometimes like diagrams for religions that don't actually exist. One of them is I have a little like pantheon diagram that I want to stick in there for the Amalgam Mythos, but I don't have to give it an explanation. It's one of the beauties of it is context is not important
yeah.
for this storyline, because the Analog Kingdom is this world that's constantly changing, and it can be stolen from tons of other pop culture because it's where all imagination goes until it's reused again. It's like the universe in between the universes.
Which also would give I forget, it's also semi-sentient where it can come back out, right? Which would give rise to similarities and ideas.
Yes. Yeah, it's constantly changing. And plus, if someone in some of the other universes actually like taps into this so-called universal knowledge, it's already floating out there. A little Plato thinking there that knowledge is more of a universal concept than a individual consciousness thing.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that it's always there and it just goes there until someone else uses it again. Well, then it gets kind of yanked to this world, from this world somewhat, because it's getting used.
Yeah.
So just a thought there. And it opens up a lot of possibilities for a very varied piece, multiple styles, multiple media. I mentioned to Aaron a few different ideas to like put in digital links and QR codes, so that if you wrote a story, it could take you can go to the web and you can look up, an audio or a video or something of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
But there'll be photos, and then there'll be art, and there'll be diagrams and timelines and things like that. Like I even thought of including a timeline, like Ages of Analog, that actually follows the various ways I label the chapters of my life.
Okay.
So there'd be, the era of Ryan and Lisa, and the Anti-Father, and the Phoenix, and Jail Baby. And then there'll be like little significant events that happened in there that changed the Analog Kingdom, because obviously the ego behind this world is me.
Yeah.
So the mindset that rules it is this false ruler. And Aaron came up with this character that winds up at the end technically being the real ruler that doesn't need the ego that the male version does.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm the spirit of destruction, this is the spirit of creation, which is both are necessary for each other. And then it also follows that male-female dichotomy.
True.
And I always like the idea of a religion of sorts or any kind of spirituality that makes note of that dichotomy, that everything comes in pairs. It's not just male or female, it's both.
Yeah.
It's not just chaos and order, it's both.
There you go, neglecting the poly community.
Fuck yourself. Polytheism? Oh, you mean multiple genders.
No, polyamory.
I didn't say these two were involved. Destructor Queen is not involved with Destructor King. In fact, his son is from another woman, remember? Who's not his queen because she refuses to marry.
Yeah.
It's a little personal fuck
Oh,
you.
yeah, please don't make Lisa the Destructor Queen.
Fuck no. No, God no. No, I had a model in mind, and It doesn't need to necessarily be a real person.
Okay.
If we put it in a costume, it doesn't always have to be the same person. Same with Destructive King. Doesn't always have to be the same person.
Mm.
What's the problem?
Music was paused.
What are you doing?
Did he say that music was balls?
No, he said it was paused.
Oh.
All right, Aaron.
That balls.
On extended currents, tell me about your family and all that good stuff. How you guys doing?
Well, like I said, I had
Okay,
been
then
forced into
then turn it
quarantine
off. Go.
I'd been forced into quarantine
No,
for
no, no,
6
no.
days, so
Yeah.
we ended up having Gabe an extra weekend, so that threw off
I'm
the
using that.
entire schedule. Dante, I was talking to Tracy back and forth for a day because we're like, do we do the handoff for the weekend? Do I keep him for an extra weekend? Should I come back Monday and do this? And the doctors are like, you've already gone this far. Somebody be showing symptoms. Why now?
Yeah, that's a question. Because Dante's special needs, like, how does that online schooling shit work for him?
We just use his tablet. We have everything's through Google that the school has. They set up an account for him, and we just logged in on his tablet, so we didn't need to get a device from the school or anything.
Any difficulties?
Getting him to focus, sure, because he's at home.
Yeah.
So,
Michael's the same way.
yeah, so it's
Um,
like it'll be 2:00. It's like, you should have been done like 15, hours ago.
But see, it's come to the point where because of the fact that they're not holding anybody back, it's like, you know what? If you're not going to do anything, then don't do anything. You'll
Aaron-
still-
See, I didn't know about that.
Aaron is fucking struggling like a son of a bitch with Xander on this, and it's the focus. And this was coming on the precipice of I had to go to a parent-teacher conference, the usuals every year,
Mhm.
but without her because her mother was going through surgery. And I got a report from his teachers that this kid cannot, basically everything about a kid that might be ADHD, but without really actually having ADHD.
Yeah.
Okay.
The kid won't sit still. The kid won't focus. He's fully capable of doing both. We've figured that one out already. But interest and being easily distracted. And then we found out that the teachers, to get him to actually do his tests, had to separate him from all the other kids.
Yeah, that's something that they do for Dante. Is like every day they'll pull him aside for like an hour where he's in a smaller group to do things, or he'll
If we
sit
knew
down and read
that,
with the teacher.
we would formalize the process so that when he goes to the next grade, that's on paper.
Yeah,
And they
should have
fucking
been.
know that, and his new teachers don't have to rediscover it and do it all over again.
Why weren't they on that? They should have suggested that to you.
Okay.
They had to wait for me to say that because basically they're doing everything that was an individual education plan
Stop whining.
without
Yeah.
actually having it formalized.
Hey,
Yeah,
Vincent,
Well, they
stop
didn't-
whining.
Tell Aaron of that. And the hard part is that
Go on.
Xander is he's got two teachers because he's in advanced classes for two subjects,
hmm
but he does really poorly on one version of testing for the math. He's way ahead in reading,
Yeah.
but his writing is way the fuck behind, like his mechanical ability on that. He's
Mhm.
very capable on math. He's doing multiplication now, right?
Yep.
But when it's a timed test, he gives up after 2 or 3. Like they just
Yep.
want to know how fast he can do it to prep him to do like multiplication quicker.
Yeah, and if he starts answering more questions, it's just guessing. Dante does the same thing. We were going over telling time and multiplication and adding time and all that, and he was just pulling numbers out of his ass.
And in Xander's case, he's fully capable. He doesn't necessarily have a learning disability or an attention issue. It's a more of a behavioral modification thing. Well, cool. Let's get that in place, and we can go to the doctors that can teach us the right way. Like this is our first kid. We fucking know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Especially with the split family and the extra stress at his house with his grandmother going through all the surgery.
Yep, and now homeschooling.
Yeah, well, Aaron had already been talking about
Enough.
holding him back, and I can't necessarily disagree with her. He is the youngest person in his class, and he is way advanced in 2 things, but really behind in several other things.
Mhm.
And it's all not a matter of his capabilities. It's a matter of his interest in figuring out the proper behavior things.
Yeah,
And with
but I mean-
schools being like this, the choice of that might have been taken out of our hands anyways.
Yeah, but then you have the option though if the school has a lower class and you were to say he's in advanced sciences, obviously he's not, but if you were in advanced sciences and writing were like a remedial level, he would still be able to move up, but go to the remedial level instead.
Yeah, and I think that's an option, but it was a matter of getting it on paper. We took him to a neurologist to get the initial assessment, and then she gave us papers for his teachers, and then everything shut down.
Yeah.
We just got the papers back from his teacher, and then I pull out the card for the neurologist. There's no fucking email address on it.
Nice.
How am I supposed to send you papers in a phone number, lady?
I would call the office and ask what it is.
That's what I'm going to do, but I just got the papers back on Friday.
I did.
Yeah.
You did?
So, all that good shit.
What the popo saying?
How about your kids, Jace? How are they handling this? Other than that one I hear in the background.
Yeah. Vincent is constantly fighting with everybody over stupid shit. But yeah, Michael, I have like maybe I've gotten him to do like maybe 4 assignments for school altogether, throughout the entire time, because the fact that he doesn't want to do it. It's hard for him to focus. He's bored, and also being home with his siblings, he'd rather do what they're doing than to actually pay attention to what's going on with the schoolwork. So it's like I don't know what to do. So I was like, you know what, fine, screw it.
How much?
Huh?
The next time voting comes up, how many of us are actually going to make it a point to fucking vote in an increase in salary for teachers?
Oh, I'll definitely be doing that.
Fuck, I don't want to pay property taxes. I don't even own property. Oh, teachers, fuck! I do not want to do this shit again.
Yeah, I mean,
Here
I
is
actually thought
all the
I
fucking
should
money.
be able to do it, but unfortunately, because of the fact that I have more than one kid, then it's like, oh yeah, there's no way I'm actually able to have an entire classroom to take care of the kids.
Erin's got one kid, so and she does have experience teaching. She's a Sunday school teacher, just not that version of teaching.
Yeah.
He's good at fairy tales.
She knows how to structure a class,
Yeah, I have no
But,
idea.
The kid's fighting her on it. He is getting his assignments done, just not easily.
Yeah. Now, Jace, where did you hear that they weren't holding any kids back? Because this school year, our Gabe almost flunked.
Was that before this, though?
No, it was during all this. We were on Dante about it, and Gabe, being 16, we're like, look, are you getting your work done? Are you getting your work? Yeah, I'm getting it done. The teachers called like 2 weeks ago saying, no, he's not. So he was up as soon as he woke up until he went to bed for 2 weeks straight doing all of his work because they were going to hold him back.
I had heard that thing Jason said too, but I can't specify a source.
The thing is, I think it's mainly for the special needs kids because Michael's not being held back.
My
he
kid's
has
not special needs, but I heard the same thing you're saying, but it might make a difference between elementary school kids and high school kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
There might be
I'm
demarcation llines.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that my kids are elementary, so they're
Yeah.
not really going to be held back. High school, on the other hand, that's a different story.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they still have to, because it's just like in college. Colleges aren't shutting down.
I
They
think
still have to do their work.
even with Xander, if he had gone through the normal school year, he still would have advanced normally. They would have
Mhm.
advanced him because he wasn't behind enough to worry about that. It just would have made third grade harder.
Yeah.
But if we hold him back, that's a choice on ours to try to get him up to speed to where he should be for the next grade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Trying
I
not
was
to set him
thinking
up for
that,
failure. It will be me and Aaron's choice. I
Yeah.
really don't want to do this, but she has a lot of good points I'm seeing. And the reports I got back from his teachers for the neurologist were concerning too. So
Yeah, I mean, if it were up to me, I actually would hold them back because of the fact that they do need to understand what they're doing for the next school year.
Jason, I do think it is up to you. I think you're allowed to make that choice. Unless the mother disagrees and there's an option. There's a thing
Actually,
there.
no, she agrees.
I think you
because
do have that choice.
Because there's a lot of stuff that we both feel that, especially Michael, when he doesn't want to do his schoolwork and he doesn't understand what he's doing or what he's supposed to do, and we try and explain it to him multiple times, and he still doesn't understand it. It's like, when you get into the next grade, you're not going to know what damn thing what you're supposed to be doing, so we're going to have to keep you back another year.
I think the reasonable compromise between these rumors you've been hearing is I think the teachers are going to be a lot more, especially at least with elementary school students, are going to be a lot more opening to listening to what the parents think. If the parents think they can be advanced, they're not going to argue unless there's some severe lines. Or if the parents think they need to repeat something, they're not going to argue either.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to have a lot more leeway than you think. So school year's up for kids, what, in 2 weeks here?
Next week.
Yeah.
All right. And my kids
It's
too.
already out.
But in Aaron's case, she's going to continue a version of lessons throughout the whole summer to try to bring him up to speed. But I think she's still going to make the decision to keep him back.
Yeah.
Because, when summer comes, that's going to get harder and harder to maintain.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
And to have to deal with the kids, trying to learn during the summer, they ain't gonna want to do anything.
And get the fuck out of the house. Well, she's trying to make it limited, but with her own struggles with trying to maintain that family, she's more or less taking care of her family now.
Yeah.
Her parents are mostly capable, but her dad's 72. He's starting to have, dementia type issues, like memory loss. Nothing where he's losing abilities yet.
Yeah.
And the mom just had surgery, and she's recovering. And because of this, they both kind of got forced into retirement. They were almost there, but this made the cutting line. Like, you're done. Social Security, welfare, the whole 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Which she's familiar with, but then with all the struggles she's been having, she didn't make deadlines for food cards and other things. And she refuses to let me help in certain instances because of our past of me being a controlling dickhead. And it's more just a personality quirk, whereas if I see something wrong, it bothers the fuck out of me, so I just want to take over and fix it and move on.
Yeah.
Whether or not it happens and it's the right way, it takes a lot of power away from someone, and women don't really want some guy to take the power away from them in this world.
Yeah.
Well, luckily, as long as communication's available and it's there, then
right. And we went through counseling for that. We still broke up, but we went through counseling for that.
Yeah, Alyssa and I did the same thing.
But at least we can communicate better now.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. It's like we do disagree on certain things, but due to the fact that we are no longer under the same roof anymore, we can actually openly converse, regarding the kids, a lot easier and a lot, and also about each other. It's like, this is a lot easier.
I got some relationship stories about my upstairs neighbors to tell you that bothers the fuck out of me because they're waking me up.
Are they gonna hear you?
I don't care.
Oh, Jace, did you know that Tony lives catty corner from Ryan? Tony and Tony
is that the guy with the dogs?
Yeah, Tony and Doug are living across the hall and next door.
Yeah. I don't like him because of the dogs. Although he got rid of the one that says dangerous dog. I think they forced him to.
Yeah.
Because this building has 3 kids living in it.
So Doug is now living with Tony, his stepson?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know his brother's living with his mother.
I mean, at least I know that they were both there when I showed up. They were both walking inside. So I'm assuming that they live there?
Yeah, I think I saw that guy and mentioned that you know him, but he looked at me like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I wasn't the closest to Doug. Jason was more close to Doug.
As far as I know.
I mentioned Aaron's name, and he still looked at me like he doesn't know who the fuck I was talking about.
Well,
whatever.
I'm like that.
Well, see, the thing is, Doug actually removed me from Facebook, from his friends.
Why?
Because we don't talk. As far as I know, last I heard, he's still living in Cody Park. Because Tim's living there, or he was, and then Tim moved out, but Doug took over the apartment. So it might be that he was visiting with Tony.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah, the whole thing about Facebook, I mean, Peggy's Tom took me off of Facebook somewhere. I'm like, where did he go? I mean, he's not in my messages or anything like that. And yeah, he's still out there.
I know, but you know how many times I got to remind myself that Facebook isn't real life? And it's not as much in that, like, oh no, they defriended me. It's more as like, and don't comment at that shit. It ain't worth the effort.
Yeah, I don't post on Facebook anyway. How
many times I'll type a comment and go, nope, ain't worth it. Delete.
I'll try posting something on Facebook, but as far as my channel goes, I'll be posting as much as I can or as often as I can. But then I procrastinate and I stop posting. And
speaking of your channel, Jason Mewes has a Twitch channel?
Practically everybody has a Twitch channel now.
Okay, he's extremely active on it. I recommend you follow it. I think you could learn a lot from his style.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I'm following a lot of people. I don't know if either one of you ever met Chris when I was living over in 203 with Ron.
Yeah.
Remember that? You remember Chris?
No idea who the fuck that is.
The guy who was playing guitar.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, he has a Twitch channel as well. I follow him. We go back and forth and everything. He's actually still in Ohio too somewhere. He says he's somewhere in Cleveland.
Huh.
Because he's more active on Twitch than I am. And we're kind of, I mean, he's, farther ahead in followers and subscribers and everything than I am. But he and I, every time we're on, I'll host him and we'll talk back and forth and everything. And also, as I'm getting off, I'll raid his channel if he's on. just because of the fact that it's like, hey, I got some people that's like might want to see what you're doing, so we're gonna go over here. And so we were talking a little while ago, and he's like, when this whole thing is done and over with, we should go out for drinks. Like, yeah, if I knew where the hell you went to.
Is that is that meant to be a pickup line?
No,
is he trying to fuck you? Is the question?
You never know with Chris.
No, he's married. He's married, and
like that matters.
But
have you ever heard of a beard?
Yes, I've heard of a beard. But no, he's doing pretty well. He's got the band going and everything, and he's doing all kinds of shit. But we'll go back and forth and everything, talking, and then he'll come and raid my channel every once in a while if I'm on while he's leaving. But I've switched up my schedule so often that it's like I want to be on a strict schedule every day, and I just can't do it. My procrastination is constantly.
Are you working like physically at all? Like you going to a job anymore, or is Twitch your basic?
No,
okay.
I'm currently collecting unemployment because I have the kids.
Oh,
the kids can't go anywhere.
Fuck.
So
were you able to collect unemployment before this thing or during?
It took me a month and a half to get it actually to go through.
I have been filing for 7 fucking weeks, and 3 weeks ago they told me I had it.
Yeah.
I don't have a fucking check in my goddamn thing, and I really need it. I broke the living fuck out of my
Did you do direct
van.
deposit or did you do the card?
Direct deposit.
Okay. You might need to go to your notifications and make sure that all the information's right.
I did. I do that like every day because I'm really fucking hard up for money.
I had notifications coming to me saying that they couldn't do direct deposit because the bank wasn't able to process my request. Like, bullshit, I've had the same bank account for the last 10 years.
I know, and this has got the same goddamn. I've had unemployment before through this exact same account.
Yeah. I talked to Mom about it a while ago. She's like, yeah, they're just stalling. Because it finally went through as of last month. And and they retroactively paid me, too.
Well, that's cool, but I need my fucking money, bitches. Pay me my money.
I'm sure it'll show up. Jenkins in the same boat.
God damn it. I owe the mechanic fixed it because I need my motherfucking van for vanity's sake.
Uh-huh.
And sanity's sake because I use it to do things that keep me from like going to stores and stealing.
Yeah.
And I enjoy what I do, whereas I live alone most of the time and don't enjoy myself.
Mm-hmm.
So
I enjoy myself often.
Yeah, that gets old. I kind of would like the touch of a woman, please. Please? Because I tried. There's stories there, too, to tell you. My currents suck.
Your currents?
My currents. What I'm going to tell you sucks.
Oh, okay.
Have you not noticed all the sad, mopey fucking Facebook posts?
I see the
Hey, guys, trying not to kill myself again today.
Yeah. I saw the one you posted earlier. I think it was like yesterday or the day before. You said the vaping's stupid, but you like the
Oh yeah, vaping is stupid. You vaping just a few minutes ago, that was stupid.
Yeah. Too bad. that was my way of quitting smoking. So
But whatever, man. I don't give a shit what you do. My opinions do not affect you at all.
No.
Oh, there was a guy I picked up in Lyft once. He's like, do you mind if I vape? I'm like, it's kind of a policy against that, no vaping or smoking or anything because of the oil. So okay. And 10 seconds later, you smell something burning. His battery blew up. It's like, what would have happened if that was in your mouth? I've heard stories of those exploding and blowing out people's teeth.
Yeah, well,
it's because he didn't vape. The thing knew it and it said, fuck you. He's like, you will get this nicotine, motherfucker, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, it could have been a defect.
Yeah,
people,
it was just about
there's that, but also people like to mod these things, and that's where they're fucking exploding.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some dickhead.
I have no idea how to do that, so I just factory setup and that's it.
Your cloud, it messes with your background though.
Yeah, I know.
Whenever you do it, it like fucks up and gives you. I don't know. I kind of like the shadow like following you like smoke.
Actually, that's my chair. See.
Yeah, I don't care. I like it. Lean back again. It looks cooler the other way.
Because I got the chair and everything. It's got the shadow on the.
Aaron, any more currents you want to spiel?
No, I think that's it.
Jason, how about you? What's your currents like?
You
got any projects?
I have some that I've been working on, sort of. I mean, like I said, I was explaining a little bit ago with my Twitch channel. I'm trying to get a consistent schedule going because I was able to get one subscriber, and then the month ended, so he's gone. So I kind of figured as much. So it's like because of the fact that I'm not consistent with my streaming schedule. Because I was doing it like 2 a day, or I was doing like one long stream every single day for 8 hours, and that got old. So I was like,
Oof,
okay.
Christ, man, 8 hours?
I would do 4 hours of Eternal, and then I would take like a half-hour break to get the kids dinner and get everything situated, switch everything over, and then I would do another 4 hours of a horror game, for the late night.
I have no
Um,
fucking clue how you pay attention to something that long.
It depends. Well, actually, it's gotten to the point where I cannot tolerate Eternal for longer than an hour and a half because again.
Hang on. Did you get what are the new hot games everyone's bitching about? Final Fantasy VII Remake and Animal Crossing. Are those yours too?
Animal Crossing's on the Switch. I don't have that.
Okay. What's the other
Final
one?
Fantasy VII Remake. I bought that one on the Xbox, but it's not the same one that the PlayStation got. It's just it's just an upgraded version of the PlayStation 1. That's all it is. Whereas the PlayStation got an entire remake.
Yeah.
I feel like I might have that game, the original.
Yeah, you do. But and the remake is like part 1.
I'm absolutely never going to play it, and I think it's worth money.
Yeah, it is.
I only saved it because I like watching people play video games more than I like playing them.
Yeah.
And I used to watch my brother play that motherfucker for hours, so it's got like a nostalgic thing to it.
Yeah, and that's another reason why a lot of people do it too. So it's all about the nostalgia. And I also picked up Final Fantasy VIII Remake, which is basically it's an upgrade.
They remade 8.
Yeah, for the Xbox. Because
they were talking about that for the PlayStation, but it was just an idea for the PlayStation.
Yeah, well what they do, this is just really a re-release on the Xbox now for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12.
You can keep 9.
You know what I just realized? There's a skeleton still hanging in my background.
Yes, I know. I watched it when you got up to do stuff. It looked like you gave up when you got up to do stuff.
Not yet. Give me a few more minutes.
Yeah, I noticed that. I just wasn't going to say anything.
The only games that ever appealed to my attention span is like the fighting games, Mortal Kombat.
Mm-hmm.
So when my dad got some money last Christmas, and I bought Mortal Kombat 11 with that. And the only reason I really did that, I've just now started playing it. I've had it since Christmas.
Yeah.
And very rarely is because of all the special characters, the Terminator and the Spawn and the Joker.
Yep. That was the only character I wanted was Spawn.
And I am playing it very easy on the shortest motherfucking tower because that is much as I can tolerate.
Yeah. What you're supposed to do, though, is you're supposed to go through the crypt afterwards to get all the costumes.
I just started doing that a little bit.
I have so many things I still have yet to explore and figure out how to get.
I need to do the story a little bit, just enough to unlock Frost.
I completed the story.
But the attention span of me sucks, and I cannot play these games for long because of the carpal tunnel.
It's actually possible to complete the story in one sitting as long as you're willing to just sit through the cutscenes.
Yeah, and you say one sitting, but one sitting is still like 10 hours.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm not sitting still for 10 hours.
It took me about 8.
I'll fall asleep.
Yeah, it took me 2 evenings to get through it. So
yeah, Aaron, when are you coming over to beat the game for me again? You do realize that I haven't touched Grand Theft Auto 5 since you touched it. It's
I know.
Like the first scene.
And now they released it for free on PC.
Well, fuck them. Yeah, I keep getting notifications about something on the Xbox about GTA 5. I just don't care.
For Mortal Kombat 11, did you see that they've added 3 new characters?
The Aftermath upgrade thing? Yeah, I saw it. I'm going to get it because one of the fucking characters is RoboCop.
Yep.
God damn it. But
I haven't gotten any
of
the DLC.
The voice, it blew. I'm like, nope, can't do it because the voice is not fucking Peter Weller.
Yeah.
It is really off-putting.
Yeah.
Well, I think it might be the actor for the new one, but it's the skin for the old one.
Yeah, the original. But I like that they got Keith David to do Spawn, though.
Yeah, that was fucking cool. He also does Goliath, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That voice fucking, it's almost as like dick hardening as H. John Benjamin.
Yeah.
And Archer.
God. We should approach them about a show together.
Like that super deep voice and then that like
I fucking know.
It should just be a series of lines where they both have to say the same thing and one guy's gonna come off as like the super dignified like I know. And then the other guy's gonna be like, I fucking know.
Did you see that? The guy that does Archer, he's doing Arby's commercials now.
I don't, but now I need to Google
Yeah.
all that shit.
Yeah.
Is it? Wait, is it gonna
No,
talk about how
just-
this thing
there's-
could vote?
He's on camera now, and he's talking about the sandwich.
Yeah,
God damn it! I don't want to see him. He's ugly as fuck. I just want to hear him.
wherever you get your audiobooks, if I'm sure that there's like a library app or something, but check out Failure is an Option. I already showed it to Ryan.
I
but
already
it's
listened to it.
written
It's
and,
done.
and narrated by H. John Benjamin.
Don't
It's
ever-
awesome.
Yeah, don't ever read that thing. Only listen to it.
Okay.
The
No.
pickup lines were awesome. You've got a face for business and a body for business. I guess what I'm saying is you look like you're into business.
It is nonsense. None of it is any. It's supposed to be funny out of context, but it is.
Excuse me, is this pussy taken?
That's so fucking stupid. Oh Christ, that guy. Yeah, I loaned a copy to Aiden too.
Uh,
And bear in mind he's 15.
Yeah.
okay.
So Jason, any more currents?
Current wise, no. That's about. I mean, I've been spending the last 3 months here. Also, we've been fighting with this tow company out in Eastlake trying to take Tom's car away. You know, constantly going and stickering it because of the fact that it's been sitting in the parking lot. It's like, that's Mom's car. And, you know, just because of the fact that it's registered to Tom out in Geneva doesn't mean that, you know, he's here. So,
Yeah.
you know, I had to remove stickers from it twice.
Yeah,
Before I went in.
they were doing. Remember when they did that with my Geo?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean to get your fucking car fixed?
Yeah, then I incidentally bought from Tom.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean it was only $150 and all the times I've been driving you to fucking work?
Yeah, apparently it had to have been a U-joint. There was always that grinding I would hear afterwards, and I could never figure it out. I'd have people in the car figuring it out. Now that I know a little bit more about cars and have had things fixed, I think it was the U-joint going bad.
Whatever, man. It served its purpose.
Yeah. I'm looking to get a hold of another car for myself. Mom can go ahead and keep that car, you know, because, you know, it's on times that I could use it to drive to and from work. But because of the fact that we're not going to work anymore, then it's like it's just sitting there, and I'll use it to go to the store because Mom doesn't want to drive it.
Jason,
like-
you had a fucking car and you were riding your bike?
No,
You just got the car.
actually, the bike, Jenkins was going to take it yesterday, but it's been sitting for the last 3 months. The chain's rusted on it, so it can't go anywhere. So I was
Why?
like,
Wait, why were you riding your bike when you had a car?
I wasn't.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying.
A
It's
bike is
You
more
didn't have the
efficient
car?
anyway.
no, I have the no. Okay, when this whole quarantine thing started, I had the car. Well, Mom gave me the key to the car so I could use it to go to and from work.
I meant before this. Before quarantine, you were riding your bike to work.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have a car then?
No.
All right, that's the question.
That was when I didn't. I had to get the bike because of the fact that I didn't have the car, and I was sick of having to take 2 hours to walk to and from work every
Okay.
fucking day.
That makes more sense. I swear to God, I was going to have to mail you a fucking postcard.
No. But I'm looking at getting a hold of another car. One of Jenkins' coworkers is selling his because he has another one.
Yep, that's fair.
Okay. So Mom's like, make sure you get a mechanic to look at it. I'm like, no. At this point in time, it's like, I don't care as long as it runs. Because I was told I'm going to look at it, yes, but it's like what Jenkins told me was that he's maintained it, he's gotten everything fixed on it that needed to be fixed, and it's pretty much up to speed as to condition where it should run somewhat close to new.
I mean, I see your point of just not wanting to put more money into something that you already know is a beater.
Mm-hmm. No,
But
this isn't going to be a beater.
All right, and a couple other things too. I also understand not listening to your mom because she's giving you plenty of reason to not.
Yeah, and
But also, I wouldn't necessarily 100% trust that Jenkins knows what the fuck he's doing.
I'm
Which
telling
Jenkins?
Mike Jenkins.
The Jenkins. What other Jenkins do you know?
Josh?
Well, his brother's Tony.
Who's a mechanic?
No, I don't know Josh.
Huh?
Josh Jenkins hangs out with Tracy.
Yes.
Denny's
Okay.
in charge.
Did you just switch your background to Ingenuity?
Yes.
Fuck.
Yeah.
All
I'm at
right.
the
I guess
you're not.
I'll start with my currents. You could have at least done something of mine and promote me.
Yeah, no.
Come on, put the Analog Kingdom behind you.
That's my photo. I want to promote what I can do.
That's a terrible photo, though.
No,
It
it's
doesn't
not.
show anything important.
It's a background.
Blah. All right. Yes, except your head is bigger than the truck.
You got to move the camera further away so that way you're not.
There. I'm in a corner that you can't see.
It's so bigger than most of the shit in the building.
See how I'm proportionate to my background?
You're proportionate to a tree?
My face is freaking
No.
out like I'm fucking Zordon with the hit.
No, I'm on this bank here. The trees are back there.
Yeah, he's just got an office chair on the bank,
Yep.
and he's slowly summoning shadows around him.
All right, here's the full screen version. Let's see how much can fit in here.
Haha, that's what she said.
Damn it doesn't all fit.
Oh, same thing. All right,
Yeah.
so my currents are Jesus. You're saying? Can you stay that way, please? What is with this?
Swallow it around.
Don't
Thanks a
just
lot.
please stay that way. I like it. Stop fooling yourself, asshole. You're funnier the other way. Oh, come on. Damn it.
As I slowly suffocate.
Oh, Christ.
Anyway.
So my currents are aplenty. Obviously, not taking the loneliness very well. I was more or less alone for 2 weeks. What helped for a bit is that I had kind of like someone I'd met on a dating website, and we were chatting and sending nudes and all that good fun. So all that seemed good, but, you know, obviously couldn't have a date. Except 3 days ago, she said, yeah, I've been talking to this other dude. Can we just be friends? No. But yes, because I want something out of her still. She started writing us one of the stories for the Analog Kingdom, and I want her to finish the goddamn scene. So now I have to pretend like I'm friendly. Really, I just wanted all of the nakedness she was sending me. I wanted that physically on my lap.
Okay.
Or my face or any other part of my actual body. Because I am starved for human touch. Even like Aaron, we'd still do like the kissing, greeting, hello, because I'm not sure we're technically broken up or not. And I mean, okay, that was nice, but she won't even go that far right now because of virus shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
I gotta just put a mask on and kiss that way.
Yeah, I tried that option. She wasn't down for that either. Can I just wear a full body condom? I just let her poke through a little bit. So, that, not dealing well with that. Job situation was shit before this, although I have picked up several different retail jobs. It got to the point where I ran out of my savings from my old job. So I had done community service at the Salvation Army because to pay off a speeding ticket. And they were more or less like, come work now. So I did that, but it was minimum wage. My option was to try to keep it for like a month to like leapfrog to the next, having time to go search for one with all those fancy degrees I have, which in 5 months hadn't really been doing anything. Like my resume looks really good, but I think when I go to interviews and I have no idea how, they somehow understand I'm an asshole. I think there's something about my personality that's blowing it in the interviews. And I have yet to figure out what that is, despite running it past a lot of people.
Do you want us to run you through a pretend interview?
Fuck no. I've had enough of the real thing with no success. I do not need more rejection right now.
Well, yeah, but those are unverified.
It could be a way of you actually reflecting and seeing where you might actually be.
Yeah, sure. I just don't want to do it right now.
They're certainly not giving you any feedback.
Yeah, I am getting feedback from some of the other employers, but none of them are anything that helped me improve. So I had that job for 2 weeks, and then, oh, by the way, we're closing the Salvation Army. And, of course, I was using it for side scams, too. Oh, I can sell this thing, and so on and so forth. But that didn't work out, so I started applying to all the places within walking distance in case, I was at a point to being so desperate I couldn't afford gas.
Mm-hmm.
And, I have a shitload of places right next door to me. What finally hired me was Dollar Tree, except despite applying for the one next to me, they wanted me for the one by the Menor Mall, which meant I still had to
All
drive.
right, calm it down.
Not much. It's like a
Calm it
10-minute
down.
drive, but still.
Yeah.
And only
All
10
right,
minutes
don't-
because of traffic lights.
Don't be fighting. Michael, enough.
Yellow wheel.
All right, go.
Wheel black. Booty
Ugh.
easy.
So I got a job actually as a manager, and with hazard pay, it's much better.
Mhm.
Not great, but they won't give you a full-time schedule. They base how many hours they give out to their employees based on how much sales are.
Yeah.
Sales are so far down from last year, they cut all the hours, but then they hired 2 managers, so they had to cut the hours from the people actually doing stocking. Well, sales
Yeah.
went down more because no one is stocking shit to sell.
Oh, see, I thought you said that demand was going up.
It just started doing that in the last few weeks. Demand did go up, but if the shit ain't out there to sell because no employee to put it out there.
Yeah.
Okay, so once they hired me and this other manager, we were getting more out. Sales started going up, but it wasn't enough to be next year. So they're like, oh, by the way, we're going to cut more hours.
Nice.
So I
I
went
mean,
from 30 hours a week to 19.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Really glad I wasn't planning on this being permanent.
Yeah. I mean,
Never
that
mind
does.
for unemployment because the moment that comes in,
Yeah. I
it
mean,
pays
that
more
does.
to be unemployed.
Yeah. And that won't really cut in. If you're only working like 19 hours, they'll just.
I'm
be
just
like,
not going to
okay.
tell unemployment because their system is so fucking glitched. When I signed up and said, hey, my last job was Salvation Army. It was before Dollar Tree. They came back and said, your last job was Component Repair Technologies. You get $318 a week. Plus, if they're not lying about the extra $600 a week,
No, they're not.
I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong because your system is glitchy. And if you come back to me and say, you owe us money, I'm like, cool, catch me at tax time, motherfucker.
Yeah.
No, the $600.
I'll take what you give me now, catch up to me. Your system's so glitchy, we'll deal with it later.
Yeah. You're dealing with a glitchy system. I'm dealing with a whole new system because I'm one of the
Oh, yeah, what is it?
freelancers and
Is
gig
it
workers.
Puka, P-U-C-A, or something else?
PUA. Yeah,
PUA?
PUA. I had everything registered and I was filling everything out. They're like, okay, well, what's your primary job? I selected my job. I went next. You have to say a primary job. I selected one. I'd go back down,
I've
refresh
heard
it.
that.
You have to select a primary job. For an hour, I was going back and
I've been
forth.
sent that a lot too, and it could apply to people that were denied unemployment, but I haven't necessarily been denied. And I don't want to really call or push the bug too much and fuck up their mistake.
Yeah.
And also,
I
is there
haven't
any
gone with
point
the
right
self-employed
now
yet.
to do that? Or am I going to sit on the phone for 3 hours to get nowhere?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, but I could also apply to that because technically I'm an artist and I pay rent
Hmm.
for that, but I've never actually filed anything tax-wise for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
for me,
I don't make money off of it.
Hmm.
because for me, the unemployment was focusing a lot on Meyer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
but
I get that.
it's like-
And I'd rather them focus on the job that paid me more.
But the thing is that my most recent job with Area Temps was one that paid more than Meyer did. So they're giving me $200 a week, and it's like, but because they said why did you quit Meyer, and they kept giving me these questionnaires.
Right around.
Yeah, and I was like, well, we see that you quit Meyer. Why was that? It's because I got a better job that was paying more. But you quit Meyer. Yeah, because I was moving to another job. But you worked at Meyer, so why did you quit? It's like, just stop asking about Meyer already. I'm no longer employed there.
Yeah.
And they finally, after 2 months, decided, okay, well, here you go.
Yeah, I hope that's my way because I will. I think it's never been a secret. If I had my choice of professions, it would be artist, and I would do that all day, every day, and never fucking be bored. And I actually love it and destroy my body way more than I am working at these jobs, but like doing it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't pay money. Unless, of course, I'm on unemployment and fuck it, I'm going to do that instead of working.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'd rather advance that. I feel that's more fulfilling. Anytime I get paid for a real job, I start giving a shit a lot less. Like I've done a ton of volunteer work that was way harder than any job I've had, but I gave a lot more shit about it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And it was literally for conventions and other nerdy shit that really has no redeeming value. It's not like I was out there feeding the homeless and all that shit.
Yeah, but see, the thing is that when it comes to actually working for somebody else, I'm in the same boat. I cannot stand it. You know,
Well,
because of the fact
volunteering,
that
I
you
still
have to
work for
conform to
someone
their
else.
rules. Huh?
I mean, volunteering, I still work for someone else.
Well, yeah, but the thing is you're volunteering for a cause that you actually care about.
Well, and there's also the thing is I'm volunteered. What are they going to do to me? Fuck you.
Yeah.
You're
So,
not paying me.
yeah.
It has
So
a lot
I mean,
less weight
so
to
that
it.
doesn't really,
It's a-
so it doesn't really count.
It's a responsibility thing. Like I feel responsible when somebody's like handing me a paycheck.
Yeah.
And then it suddenly has this weight of misplaced responsibility.
Mhm.
Yeah, like that's the reason you did it, and whether it was in the beginning or not, that's what it's become.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I mean, I can't. I hate working for somebody else because you have to conform to their rules and you have to do what they say, and they can basically get rid of you because of the fact that you don't want to do what they tell you to do.
And then you can live constantly in fear of losing their security.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those of us with kids, it's like, back when we were working at McDonald's, Aaron, if we lost our fucking job, oh, well, whatever,
Yep.
man. I'll go get another one. Now that we got kids, we lose our job. I'm like, fuck, my kid can't eat. That's
Mhm.
more important than me not eating.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, and in my case, that's not really reality, but still, you still get that parental responsibility.
Yeah,
Mhm.
For some reason, we give a shit about our kids.
Yeah, before kids, I used to. You remember how like the first X-Men opened up where Wolverine was living out of the back of the truck? I saw that scene. I'm like, that looks really nice right now.
I thought the same thing. Now, I know a lot of drifter friends. It's not nearly that glamorous, but, before my kid and after Lisa and all that, there were plenty of times where I was like, you know what? Fuck all this shit. What if I just got in my car and just kept going? But
Mhm.
you know me, I have this really emotional attachment to stuff
Yeah.
because stuff stays and people leave.
Yeah, just look behind you.
Yeah, right. Look at the amount of shit in my apartment.
Skeleton can't take it
Now, see,
anymore.
if I actually had been able to get a car when I was 16, 17 years old when I first got my license, I actually would have done the same thing. Yeah,
Well, I did have that, and I drove all over the place, but I didn't drive away from home.
You had that cutlass when you were 18.
What?
Tom gave you that cutlass when you were like 18.
No, he gave it to me when I was 16.
Okay,
didn't
well
give-
there you go. You had a car at 16.
But the thing is, I didn't have my license at 16. I had my license at 18.
Yeah.
So that's why the car
Okay.
sat for a year and a half and had to be junked because of the fact that brake lines went because they didn't start it every day.
He had to get his car fixed.
Did he now? Did he now? Does that run in the family or something?
Nothing runs in this family.
No, I procrastinated horribly on getting my license. That's the main reason why. I was so used to being like dad, constantly walking everywhere that it's like, screw getting a damn car and getting my license and all that shit. But then 18, 19 comes around and I wanted to get a driving job. It's like, well, shit, I need my license now. So I went and got it. So, but then I went through so many cars and, I only paid like maybe $300 each, but I never actually took road trips or anything because of the fear of, what could possibly happen, having the thing break down in the middle of the road on the freeway somewhere that I don't even know where the hell to get to the nearest gas station.
Yeah,
But-
this is before
and
GPS.
Yeah.
Long before GPS. So it's like, but the thing is, I really wish I would have taken more chances. Instead of being constantly.
That sounds like a really common old age complaint.
But that's also why people hit their midlife crisis. People are like, oh, it's because you're fearing the grave. No, it's because your kids are grown and don't need you anymore. You can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, but our generation has had most of their kids like a decade later than their parents. So our kids are still young.
Yeah.
No, not in my case.
This reality hit me a while ago. My dad has MS and he's not great, right?
Mm.
He's gotten worse recently. 40 years of smoking has suddenly catched up with him. And he got called to he had to call 911 because he couldn't breathe.
Mhm.
Now he's on oxygen and still fucking smoking like a nickhead. He keeps going in and out of the hospital because he'll get pneumonia, and the pneumonia never fully clears up, but then he goes home and starts smoking and he gets it again.
Mhm.
And he needs physical therapy. He can't lift himself out of bed anymore. My 62-year-old mother can't do it either.
Mm-hmm.
Although she struggles with it, but it's really fucking her up.
Mm-hmm.
My younger brother has drug-induced psychosis that's untreated, so it's not getting better. It's going in and out of
Oh yeah.
paranoid schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I tried to do when this shit happened was to develop some kind of routine. One of them was, for those 2 weeks I was quarantined, I used to call my old recipes kitchen sink recipes.
Yeah, I watched a couple of those.
Yeah, I just did videos, and some of them were for my kid so that he could see, and I gave him pancakes and other weird shit like that. And then some of them were like, I'm going to make my pot of random shit to last a week. Let's see what I can do. Just to do something. And then I did some art tutorials. Just to do something. Because I had shit here, let's do something with it, right? I had to make my apartment my home studio because I didn't want to go back to Ingenuity that might have been contaminated by Aiden.
Yeah.
I even brought like these huge, where I took my studio walls apart and was turning them into paintings. I brought them here and did a fuck ton of work on them. Now the next work needs to be done in Ingenuity anyways, and I'm back there now. Everything's long since been dead. No one's been in that building for 3 months. At least the Ingenuity part.
Yeah.
So I was doing that. Well, because my kid couldn't visit anymore, I used to visit my parents every week with my kid so that they could see their grandson and they had a weekly visit and all that good fun. Because what else is my dad going to look forward to? He doesn't have any interests or hobbies and anything like that. Bitching at my mother is his hobby. So I decided just to keep up the at least visiting once a week, and now I'm over there doing work for them because no one there can do it anymore. And Dad's going in and out of the fucking hospital all the goddamn time, and then this realization hit me. My dad won't make 60. He is 58. He will likely not make 60.
Will he
His
make
parents died
59?
at 60 and 61, huh?
That's not. Will he make 59 at this rate? What do you think?
He had his birthday April 7th, and he said the same thing. I'm not sure I'm going to have another birthday. I'm pretty sure this is the last one. And we were all in agreement, but I couldn't bring my son to it.
Yeah.
Because my dad's immunocompromised severely.
Yeah.
Even if I would let him come, Aaron wouldn't. And I can't blame her for that. But he keeps going in and out of the hospital. He refuses to go to the he's been to rehab, but then he checks himself out early because he hasn't smoked for so long, and and none of these places want to take him back because he's being an asshole.
Yeah, going against medical advice.
Well, not only that, he's being belligerent. Which, think of me at my most assholey, that's my dad every day. He's angry about dying, and that's how he's reacting to it. He's a man that his whole thing was the physical will of his body. Well, that's gone. And I got to thinking, people constantly think Aiden's my kid because he's always with me in Ingenuity. And for the first couple of times, I'm like, that's fucking ridiculous. I'm not old enough. Oh, shit, I'm old enough to be his dad. Because my dad had me at 20, and I'm 37. My dad had a 17-year-old by now.
Yeah.
I was almost 30 when my kid was born. By the time my kid is my age now, if I follow the pattern of my family, he won't have a father. I'll be gone. That's one of those many fucking things that just hit me really hard. It's not only realizing your father's mortality, and I've had a decade to deal with that because it's been happening for a decade. I struggled really hard to get my parents' life insurance and do the responsible thing because I'm the adult in the family, despite being their child.
Yeah,
but they don't know stability.
You were telling me that when I was 17 and you were 19, so you'd known that for a long time.
No, and it's very well possible it won't. I'm going purely on genetic heritage and the extreme commonalities among the genetics on my dad's side, but that's a probability. Like, I don't drink much. Like, this one glass of wine is all I'm going to have tonight, and that's normal. Not every night either. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. Never have.
Yeah.
But God knows that there's some genetic factors that are fucking with me. And for all I know, I'll get MS2 with my immune system that reacts just like my dad's. I mean, shit, I got a hernia, which is entirely a situational thing, in the exact same spot at the exact same age as my dad. My fucking dad's father, I only met once, and that was at his goddamn funeral when he was dead in a coffin. Looked like my goddamn dad with gray hair. And my dad's not the emotional type, but you could look on his face and looking back at the man he hadn't seen for 20 years, looking exactly like him in a fucking coffin, hit him like a ton of goddamn bricks. It hit him harder when his mother died because she actually raised him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that look on my face is something you'd never seen weakness in my father before.
Hmm.
And he went through a whole slew of fucking drug problems after that. He was working in a job where cocaine was really popular among the VPs and things like that.
Yeah.
And he was a flirtatious party boy despite having been married for 20 years.
Hmm.
Never grew out of that. He grew up like that because he didn't have a dad. So, whatever. Family problems. Bullshit.
Yeah.
But on happier things, after going through months of this and trying to stay and weight off and, Ingenuity Fest, which is what I yearly look forward to building something cool and gigantic for, very recently has come to me like, oh, that's not going to happen. Because part of what goes into that is the fundraising.
Yeah.
None of that's happened. We would normally have a ball this month as the first fundraiser to purchase the materials to build over the summer for this festival.
Yeah.
None of that's going to happen. And the art director has been completely fucking silent. The building's owned by Osborne, who's been trying to sell it forever, but everyone except Ingenuity's been moving out.
Hmm.
Rust Belt Riders has moved out, 3 Barn Doors. Now, some of the other staples are still there. Skidmark, I don't think they want to go anywhere else. And the wood builders upstairs, Soulcraft.
Yeah, I've just
But
seen
no one
things
has been
from
there working at Ingenuity, really.
Mark has. He's been posting stuff being like, I love it. Nobody else is here. I can do all this work now.
What does he do?
He does it's another type of video.
Oh, okay.
He's got like sets and everything in there.
He's at Ingenuity?
Yeah, he was posting stuff.
Oh,
He had sets built.
cool. I'm there more or less just to drop off materials, and I don't even put them away. I just kind of been hoarding them in my storage area. Shit I find that I just want to give to them or whatever, but I haven't really been putting it away. Very recently, I've come to the realization, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do as my usual summer project? Because I need that to keep going on. I need to keep building. Well, it came down to you, Aaron, is I'm feeling the anticipation that very soon you're not going to have the property where I dumped a bunch of my shit.
Yeah. It's possible.
Well, I need to do something about that, right?
Yes.
I started by trying to have a roof garden, but I was told very bluntly, I am very concerned that the roofs will not have the structural integrity for that.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's true, and I honestly think she has a valid concern, that's a no. That means, no, don't do it, dickhead.
Yeah. We
All
already
right.
have enough of your shit.
Yeah, I believe you. So now what am I going to do? Well, I've actually been talking to some people. I want to do a community garden in Cleveland, very near Ingenuity. I drive from Aiden's place in Coventry to Ingenuity to pick them up. Every time I go to Ingenuity, there is a fuck ton of really shitty abandoned property on that road. Community garden. And not only that, a junk garden. The whole concept of me always using this reuse shit is to show you that nothing is ever truly gone and discarded, and that even the most trashy of things and people can be rebuilt into something beautiful. So I think that's a good message for that area, even if there's a bunch of guys that might fuck it up really easily.
Yeah.
Security is a major concern on this project. So I've been through contacts of several of those kind of programs in Cleveland, and have been given the map for the land bank, which is who kind of becomes default owner on these properties. There's 2 places. There's Cuyahoga County Land Reutilization and the Land Bank for the City of Cleveland. City of Cleveland Land Bank will own lots for gardens mostly. And most of the time it's for growing plants that you can eat.
Yeah.
Now, in my case, I don't want to do that. I want low maintenance decorative gardens.
Yeah, but plants you can eat, that can have a utility towards donors.
It can. I
Donors
just don't
to
want
food banks.
I don't want to do that because of the maintenance required.
I understand that, but you can find volunteers to go. That could be part of a community service hall where that's maintained by the city.
I don't have a personal interest in that. I understand what you're saying. And if somebody comes and says, in one of your things you built, I'd like to put a vegetable garden, I will say yes. No problem. That's just not where I'm starting it. Because there are already a bunch of those too.
So it's just something you want to branch off of.
Basically, I want to take a bunch of junk, put some dirt around it, and let plants grow on it.
Yeah.
And make it look pretty. And as I call it, the Genesis garden.
Okay.
So they loaned me the map. It's like a digital map online where you can go and see who owns each piece of property. Jesus, there's a lot of it.
Mhm.
And there's one piece I really wanted, but of course, when it's Cuyahoga County land utilization, that is supposed to be used for housing, to
Mhm.
build some housing structure on there. One of the lots I found, I think they classified as that because it has a parking structure on there and a brick garage. Neither of which would be usable for housing unless torn down and rebuilt.
And what about his greenhouse?
That's what I'd like to do with it. But it's classified in a way that's only supposed to be used legally for housing.
That's
I have a
right.
meeting with someone tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
If I can't get that lot, that's just the one that was my ideal choice. I'll
Yeah.
pick one of the others. I just need to find out which one of those ones. I'm very focusing on Superior because of its closeness to Ingenuity.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully Rust Belt riders are moving out of that building. I can capitalize on that to get them to bring me dirt before it's out of that building. Like maybe they can't haul all of it to their new location, but maybe they can go down the road with it in a truck and dump it.
Yeah.
Now,
So
Rust
whether
Belt
or not
Riders.
their dirt is at their building, Rust Belt Riders does compost.
I was gonna say that's they're in the other part of the building. Okay.
Yeah, they're moving out. They just got a
Okay.
new place. So I thought I could capitalize on that. And it branched off of being able to find a place for my new shit. And now I've got tons of ideas for other cool shit. Like building a garden box out of old TVs, building a wall of TVs that you can spray paint, let people tag it on purpose.
Mhm.
And then when it rains and the sun hits it, the spray paint doesn't stay on that glass. It'll come off.
Yeah.
So it kind of self-renews. Even if someone draws a giant flaming dick, it'll be gone in a week.
Because we know where your mind is.
That's
Every
going to be the
time.
mind of any kid that's going to tag the damn thing if you're not looking. And
Yeah,
whatever.
sometimes.
The spray paint will stay on the plastic, but the
Yeah.
spray paint won't stay on the glass. So there's some thoughts. And I really like the one with the brick building because my wall of TVs needs a wall behind it to hold it up
Mhm.
properly. But stuff with tables. I'm thinking of doing car hoods and like little teepees that can be little seating structures. Going off the whole Analog Kingdom junkyard world aesthetic, but then also having these plants grow around it, and it's about that reclaim. Nature makes what we left behind beautiful.
Okay.
And having that in an area that is economically fucked. Just at least a message that says it doesn't matter how ugly and fucked up this is, there's still some beauty to be found in it.
Mm-hmm.
Or some rebirth, or some renewal, or some redemption.
Yeah.
Goes with my own personal story of being this guy that's constantly used to being fucked up and depressed and, making mistakes and getting dumped and rejected and still rebuilding myself every time, no matter how scarred and ugly I am.
Mm-hmm.
And then that applies to other people too. I adopt all the fucked up freaks. And one of my friends that isn't weird. And that's by choice. I'm not interested in people that are normal.
Yeah. Because for the most part, normal's boring.
No, and normal's a misnomer anyways, because no one is.
Yeah.
So that's my art project I'm focusing on, and it's timely, and it's based on the summer, which is kind of put doing physical stuff for the analog renaissance to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Like every so often, I'll find someone who posts something, and I'll throw one of the ideas at them to see if they're interested, or I'll add a few new ideas to the list. But it has a lot of physical steps to be taken online, research and information and plugging in information before it's ready for launch.
Mm-hmm.
And this is if the original Analog Kingdom book was a little guidebook built out of what I had left from Destructicon and old poems and imagery for the Analog Kingdom sculpture,
Mm-hmm.
the little throne of TVs.
Yeah.
Now I've decided to move the second one into prose and other things of that nature and build a bigger book on Amazon, like full of 1 to 5 page short stories out of all of our forgotten ideas with little interstitials like quotes stuck in there and artwork and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That'll still have the linkage to the Analog Kingdom, but none of the individual stories necessarily will have to. The third book will be the one that ties it all together
Okay.
and gives it some sense of a linear story, but the point of the Analog Kingdom is it doesn't need that. And I was going to crowdfund this in a weird way. I have yet to really do the research to find out the proper platform for that, but here's a list of ideas, right? And I find authors who would want to write it. And the author tells me how much they would charge me to write that. I put that entire list up on a crowdfunding site. So Joe Blow goes there and he wants to fund something, right? He can either donate generically or he can choose which story he wants and donate to that. And when that story reaches its price, then I will pay the writer will write it, and the people who donated to that story get it. Right then and there. Or that piece of artwork, like if I commission a piece of artwork. Right then and there, long before the book's ever out. And then we'll do that leapfrog until we have enough for a full book. All the stories won't get written, but it will basically, the viewers will pick which ones they're interested in the most.
You realize that the price is going to change depending on how long of a story it is. Are you giving parameters for that?
The price will change based on the writer, too. Every story is going to have a different price.
Yeah, that's fine. But I'm saying that one person's going to charge, X amount for a 60-page story. Another person's going to charge for a 30-page story.
Right. None of the stories are going to be 30 or 60 pages.
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
Just a few pages can change the price dramatically between person.
I understand. That's why each one would have one or two different writers assigned to it, but no more than that. So the price of that story won't change because the author would have told me how much they want to charge for it.
And you'd also have to work in the printing costs.
Yeah, there's going to be a thing there for no, not necessarily because it's going to go through Amazon. I'm not going to print. There will be a section for, the cost of me making the book, the cost of some of the materials for that, and a couple of proof copies. But the book doesn't get printed until someone buys it online.
Yeah.
In which case, that printing cost is one-off to the person who buys the book.
I see.
Yeah. So I don't have to pre-buy 400 copies of it.
Okay.
It's printed when they want it. Now,
Yeah,
I'm going to buy a couple
understand.
of proof copies, and ideally, I'd love to provide a proof copy to everyone who wrote for it. That seems like, at the very least, I can provide you a copy of the finished product. Now, there is a section for that. I haven't worked out numbers or people. Literally, right now, it's just a list of ideas. I'd like to make the book multimedia. So including links and Aaron with his scripts and stuff like that, a story that's part in the book but then gets expanded upon in some kind of a video or a film later, or he's so tied up in the collateral, one of his previous scripts go in there for future development. And part of it too is to gauge interest. But the key to the crowdfunding idea is this. The hardest part of crowdfunding, when I did the printer fund for Beautiful Basami, is that every motherfucking day I had to contact 100 people. And I had to spam my friends 30 times. Because there'll be the friends, too, that'll go like, oh, yeah, man, I'll respond to that. Hit me up later. Or they won't say that, and they'll say, yeah, sure, I'll fund it, but then they don't physically do that. You have to follow up, and you have to remember that.
Yeah, and you have to do a pre-campaign campaign.
Right.
Or it's like a month beforehand when it goes live. That's when you get everyone.
Christ, man, the context of this book is so large. How the fuck am I going to do that? And Jesus, man, I don't want to really piss off all the people I know artistically by bugging them to donate to a project every fucking day. So the idea is to expand the network of people who contact other people. So if the writer is interested in this story, and they don't have to write it till they get paid for it, they can tap into their own networks to convince people to pay for their story. So then every individual story has a different network of people to play with, who then might also draw them to other stories or the general fund for the book.
I mean, that's an okay idea if you're going by the idea that one base will have more pull than the other.
I mean, and that might be who gets the stories funded then. If somebody has no pool in their base or doesn't do any work to it and doesn't get funded, then it doesn't wind up in the book.
Yeah. And
But I also don't want them to do work without getting paid for it. So you didn't get paid for it. You didn't actually have to do the work. No harm, no foul.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though, is that ideally the way your idea is working is if that's the case, it's kind of falls apart if you have 5 different bases all vying for the same position and they equally pull together. Everybody's a tie.
Well, then
It
I have
gets
5
funded.
stories at least, but I have a feeling it'll be more than 5. and I have writers that are probably going to write more than one story.
That's travel.
So, I mean, it's a thought. And whether it works or not, there's a lot of, work to go into before that. And because of the seasons where it is, winter is more often my season for doing the writing thing, because going outside and building things is not as easy.
Oh, well, it's almost winter.
No, I'm going to spend the summer trying to build a fucking garden and find some way, even if it is, I don't get funded for this thing until fall, I have a place to put the shit, and I get it prepped for next year. But at least it's off your fucking property, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you're tired of looking at my junk in your backyard.
Well, I have to go for a walk to the creek to see it, but yeah. Yeah, I'm tired of walking over that stuff.
I'm working on it. I thank you for letting me have my shit there in the first place. I hope it's brought you plenty of chuckles. The Barbie dolls hanging from the vine are gone, though.
Yeah.
So is the Bratz totem. I used them. I reutilized parts of that for the upgraded Destructiking costume.
I think I saw the shoes still there yesterday, though.
Are they?
I think so.
You might be right. The shoes might still be there. I have a place for those too. It's
Yeah.
fine. Those I could have actually taken sooner. I just probably forgot about them.
Yeah.
But also this Analog Renaissance project has opportunities for you and Jason and anybody I know, more or less.
Yeah.
And also, I'm willing to take new ideas. If you have something that you worked on a while ago but never finished, you can put the unfinished product in the book. And you'd be ahead of the curve because you already wrote it. But just now you might get paid for at least doing the little bit of work you did on it. Whether it gets finished or not doesn't matter. But maybe you get a paycheck and you can do more of it.
You say that, but you know that we're gonna look at it and be like, yeah, that's shit what we wrote. We gotta redo it.
Sure, but you don't have to do that till you get paid to do it.
Yeah.
And if you don't get paid to do it, then no harm, no foul, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a thought. It's a big idea. It's a lot of work. I have the idea list if you ever want to look at it. It's in that phase right now. It's just ideas. It's a spreadsheet. And if one of the ideas appeals to you, please ask me because I probably have a million other notes on it. I always have a million other notes. One of the things that I'm obsessive about is note taking.
Yeah.
I have a massive database.
And another thing.
Oh, Jesus, man. Xander has actually, speaking of how I think the kids' abilities are far advanced in certain areas, 2 months ago, Xander told me he was interested in building a computer.
Yeah, the schools are getting on about coding and everything. Dante's got a couple of coding classes.
I swear to God, it's not coding and anything. It was physical components. I think it's a combination of seeing me build stuff and knowing that I did that, and some TV show he saw where somebody was doing that. And then I think it started, like, my general interest in building things started with I wanted to know what was inside shit. I could take it apart, but I couldn't put it back together.
Well, there's also all of these tutorials on YouTube about how to build PCs as well.
Right. I just don't want to do that. Those would bore me because I don't have the ability to sit there and focus on it. I learned by having a class where they physically showed me.
Yeah.
Well, I have computers sitting upstairs for the purposes of digging apart and finding to see what cool photos or some other people's shit might be on it I can steal. I mean, not information because I don't know well enough to do that without getting caught, but more like I want to look at people's old photos and see if they hit their porn on there.
One of these days, it's going to bite you in the ass where it's like, oh, this is not a good kind of porn. This is where you, like, turn it into.
No, in that case, I would actually call the police.
Yeah.
I have yet to have that issue. I have yet to ever really find someone's porn. Once on someone's memory card, I did, but I knew the person. Because they deleted all the files, but then there were hidden files on there still.
Yeah,
Like
ghost
backups,
files.
does. Yep. But I had these computers upstairs that were just junk, so I had extra pieces and parts, and we started going through them. We found 2 that worked, and the 7-year-old can tell you the main 5 components of a computer, and we randomly plugged in drives and found working hard drives on them. Today, like working operating systems, the computer turned on and powered up on a hard drive that I had randomly in a different bin into a computer where, someone threw it out and ripped the hard drive smartly. But I've had plenty where people don't. Including this one fucking today was this hodgepodge monstrosity, this gigantic tower. It had a hard drive in the bay, right? It had 3 fucking DVD burners. It had another hard drive on the bottom of the case Velcro to it. And then it had the external fan with a hole drilled very shittily. Like, I am shitty at drilling maybe, but this motherfucker wobbled like this trying to put a hole in the side panel to run a cord through it so he could power an external fan. Well, the fucking cord didn't fit with the right power supply, so he fucking shoved it into the half part and hot glued it.
Mhm.
The fucker powered up with a working operating system, Windows XP.
Yeah.
So we got that to work, and it had a second hard drive that functioned. We unplugged the second hard drive and just plugged in a random drive. It was my motherfucking computer with Windows Millennium Edition from 2000. Like, it still had my Sailor Moon
Something-
desktop theme on it. It wouldn't function because it was too old to work with the BIOS in the computer. But you could see the background page.
Yeah.
And I hooked it up just being to see if its OS would boot. It wouldn't. So I hooked back up the OS that would boot and then made this a slave.
Yeah. That's what I was
So
gonna
I could
say.
go through the files. Jesus, man. There was a shitload of Lisa's schoolwork that I did for her on there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this was one of my first computers I rebuilt myself.
Yeah.
For some reason, I saved the hard drive and forgot about it. It's a 37 gigabyte hard drive. Or not 30, 40 gigabyte hard drive.
So much Dojin on there.
Yeah, there was a fuck ton of porn.
Mm-hmm.
None of it illegal. Well, no, because cartoon porn doesn't count even if they're underage schoolgirls.
Yeah, that's from back in the days when you were printing it out and making it into binders.
I still have one of those.
So do I.
Only because I decorated the outside of it with a bunch of nasty sayings from the front of porn magazines and then the back from a bunch of fucking phone sex ads.
Yeah, I still
So I
have my box.
decoupaged it.
I still have my science stuff from the zero tolerance models. Were you with me for that?
No idea.
No, you weren't with me for that. That was Dave and Sam went with me for that one.
So,
That's a long time ago.
Sam. I have an old email from her 100 years ago somewhere floating around here. For some reason, I printed it out.
Why?
I think she said something complimentary to me, and at that point in my life, my wife at the time hadn't said anything like that to me in years.
Wow. You
Desperate
really
times.
made a connection there.
Jesus, man, you ain't joking. Gee, I wonder why I'm divorced. The bitterable.
Only in a comic down.
Bitterable?
Bitterable, yes, a bitter old man. So,
Only no.
I'm starving for doing projects and building things. This kid's got me more interested in some things. So me and him are going to go to Ingenuity tomorrow because I'm off of work on one of those days I cut my hours. We're going to build a TARDIS.
Okay, then.
I don't know if we have enough materials, but nobody's using what's there, and I built a fancy fucking wood shelf for scrap wood right before they threw out half of my wood.
You can build a tiny TARDIS. It's just got to be bigger on the inside. That's all.
Sure, except the kid wants a full fucking console in the center. I'm like, kid, it doesn't work like that in reality.
Yeah.
If I put that in there, you can get in the goddamn thing. No, I'm going to build one that him and his mother could get into. About phone booth size. Maybe a little wider, as you've met his mother.
No comment.
You know what? I like the big woman. Just smack that ass and ride the wave.
Stop whining. Let me go get something to eat. Oh my God. All right, I'll be right back.
I'm giving you the space wave.
Yeah. That is an interesting chair right there. It kind of looks like he's camping now. He went up for a
Look on
beer.
his chair. It's just an empty chair. It's like it's floating in the river.
We're leaving this open for Elijah.
Oh, hey, shit, Aaron, when is Memorial Day?
Is
it next weekend? It sure as fuck is.
Yeah, it's next Monday.
Okay. So I'm not sure I'm going to be available on the Monday. I might have to work. I don't know.
Oh, hang on a second, Dante's. Yeah. Hang on a second. What is it? You okay? Okay, so go. You're good.
Daddy, I have to go to the bathroom. Yes, go.
Told him to go to the bathroom before he went to bed.
Yep. Well, the reason I ask is our usual Memorial Day hike. Are you still
Yeah.
too socially distanced to want to do that?
It's probably not the best idea given that everybody else is going to be coming out in droves for that.
Well, I'm still going to take Xander, but we could both go, but in separate instances if you want to still do it. Meaning you take Dante by himself and I take Xander by himself.
And no, it's
But-
not. It's not meeting up with you that I would have an issue with. It's that we would be among everybody else saying, "Wow," we'd be among the wide-eyed masses, whether alone or apart.
Yeah, but I feel like the only instance we're going to have too much interaction with other people is just getting from the parking lot to the trail. Because I feel like once we get on the trail, most of the people are going to be hanging out in the grassy meadows. The few people on the trail you avoid when you pass by. But once we get nearer to that closed off trail, there's very few people there. It's up to you. Like, I'm just mentioning it now because it's such a close event.
Yeah, I know.
It's your choice.
Yeah, I might have to skip this year.
If you do, I understand entirely. I'm going to take Xander no matter what. Whether or not it's with you or without you, I would understand no matter what.
Jace, did you put cartoons on?
No, she did.
So I can hear.
Yeah, I know, and it's just fucking annoying. She's always got to have it up all the way and in the same room as me. It's like, take it in the other room. She doesn't listen.
Take it in the other room sounds like a
What's that?
Take it in the other room sounds like a euphemism.
Oh, I know.
Hang on, I went to get some water.
Everybody's got their own freaking tablets and phones and things. It's like they have YouTube all over it.
These damn whippersnappers and their devices.
I
Wait a
know.
minute, let me check my email.
In my day, we had to walk 20 miles uphill in the snow to check our email. And we used AOL Instant Messenger. Fuck. That was one thing I told the kid to fuck with Aaron with today. Is one of the things that was on that Millennium Edition drive, AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah.
Like, I actually clicked on some of the programs off of a second drive. They fucking opened. PageMaker 6.5 and The Sims.
I can't remember what engine it was that I used, but I used a third-party instant messenger, so the prompts weren't the same. People would hit that little
ICQ?
door. No, it wasn't ICQ, but it was a different. You would see the different prompts, so somebody would try and scare you with something, but I'd know the key commands. So I was like, I just have to type this in, and then I scare the shit out of somebody because when they chew it to me, I knew what the command was.
Just to fuck with Aaron, I told Xander, right before you go to bed, I want you to go to your mom and go, AOL Instant Messenger. She's going to look at him like, fuck, do you know that? But the kid, there is no other kid my age who would have any reason to ever know this, but my fucking kid knows how our projection TV works. Like an old projection TV, because he watched me take one apart. And I literally taught him and repeated it and quizzed him on how it worked. This is entirely useless knowledge. He knows what CRT stands for.
I want to record that sound and just sneak into somebody's house and play the dial-up the sounds when they're asleep at night and they hear they have nightmares.
Yeah, like,
flashbacks.
That's
like, no, I'm on the phone, God damn it. Oh, yeah. Hey, by the way, I need a couple of old dial phones, like landline ones. If anybody's got one around, I assume if you do, you're never going to use it again.
Yeah, I've got.
Maybe that's what I can use. Fuck, I have one.
Do they have to be corded?
Uh,
I have cordless in the outbuilding.
yeah, but it needs to still be connected to a phone line for those things to work, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I have one that needs a cord, but it's basically it's a toy for the kids now.
I mean, if you have one that needs a cord, I have a cord. But, all right. So Dollar Tree is so old over there that they still had a couple of landline phones. But they have them because they have, the cordless ones, of course, you can take up to the register with you. But they have one back office in case the power goes out. It'll still work. Of course, everyone has a cell phone, but that they still wanted the emergency phone.
Yeah.
Well, I found out the other day their overhead PA system, and there's another corded phone up by the front. Still there. They've been there so long, and the people have dropped the damn thing so much that the circuit boards have actually separated from the casing, it's all cracked up.
Mm.
They still work.
Oh,
As
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier, I'm not the type of person who sees a problem and goes, yeah, I'm going to fucking live with that. I'm the type of person who goes, I'm going to fix that right away because it bothers the shit out of me. So knowing that these phones are free, I already replaced one. And then it kept falling off the hook because of the way the walls actually slanted because the building's so old.
Mhm.
They have Velcro out there. Went out to the fucking rack, took the Velcro off the rack and said, this is for store use, and Velcroed the phone to it. I'm like, you're not going to actually need to take that apart unless it's an emergency. Like the power goes out. So I need
Yeah.
another one to fix that. And the kid wants a dial phone for his TARDIS we're building.
Mm.
Oh, to go on the old
So you
two-piece
want
phone.
you need a rotary phone.
Yeah, I'm going to write it down. I don't need it for tomorrow. But Aaron, you remember my old house, right? And I had a landline in that motherfucker long past the time it was useful.
Yeah.
Because I had my internet was DSL instead of cable.
Yeah.
I didn't
and,
change that till I moved out of that house.
Yeah, and 2 miles down the road was long distance.
Yeah, but since I already had the DSL, then it was cheaper, including the landline, to still have it. I still had one corded phone upstairs in my toy room because the power would go out.
Mm-hmm.
Power actually didn't go out there very often. It went out. It goes out more here than ever there.
Yeah.
I have a see-through phone, like one of those old '90s fucking clear ones with the neon shit on the inside.
Yeah.
I kept it only because I thought it was cool. It's literally just a relic. It's sitting in a fucking box somewhere in one of my storage. That's the one I think I want to put in his TARDIS. It won't be anything like the one in the real TARDIS. It's just fucking cool, and I want an excuse to use it.
Ryan, I'm seeing a premonition of your next shirt design.
What?
So get back to how you were sitting. Put your shoulder right there. See, look at that.
I can't see it
You don't see that?
because it's tiny in my window. Oh, it looks tie-dyed. Or it's marbled.
Sort of, yeah. Kind of a whitewash on blue dye.
Marbling's a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too long ago I discovered the fiber dyes. The ones you got to use that salt shit for. I forget what it's called. They work so much fucking better. I'm not going back to the rich shit unless it's for somebody else. Again, that rich shit constantly bleeds and eventually fades completely out.
Yeah, Brittany had washed a pair of her jeans in with all those tie-dye shirts. She threw it in there. And it's like, you dyed your Hollister jeans pink. You know that, right? They're all pink now. She threw them in the wash again. It's clean. It's done.
Those fiber reactive dyes are so much better, but you got to order them. You can't just go to the store and buy them.
Mm-hmm.
RIT dyes available everywhere.
Yeah.
And my dad asked for tie-dye t-shirts, so that's what I got for him. And wound up with 18 of them.
Didn't you have one?
So,
Then no.
I did projects. I did currents. I am, hey, guys, feel free to do everything in your power to get me laid. Because I am really desperate for it right now, which doesn't work really well on dating sites.
Does it have to be with a woman?
Yes.
Well,
I know
that
you've
would
offered
limit
before,
you.
Aaron, but I am still terrified of your cock. I'm really scared of it. And if it runs in the family, Jason, you're out too.
No, I'm well aware. That's fine.
Hey, try as I might, man. I just can't get into dick.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've
Missing
marched
out.
in those parades, and I could have had all I wanted. It would have been an all-I-can-suck buffet. But it's just not for me. I'm not only into pussy, I'm into fat chicks, too. So,
Mm-hmm.
Now that part shouldn't be so hard to find. Getting women to actually give it to me, I think I'm too creepy.
A good thing to do is this.
Cool. Yeah, that'll help. The dolls hanging in my bedroom or the skeleton probably doesn't help either.
Hotel room.
Do I look like the sort of rich motherfucker that can afford a hotel room right now?
It's like $50 for a really cheap one.
As I repeat.
Well, or you can just when you get your van, just do there.
And go to
Yeah.
their place and fuck up their place. They'll leave a cum stain right on their carpet.
There you go.
Yeah, that's probably a bad idea. There's some of those psycho women that'll suck that shit up and use it for something. And I am not having another kid. I'm good, but I am still capable of having other kids.
I'll be by to pick you up in my windowless van.
Jesus Christ, I have one. Oh, so let me tell you about the goddamn van, by the way. The rear axle needs replaced.
Nice.
$700 to $900.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that one. You said you're
Van's
waiting.
not worth that. It's rusting out.
Mhm.
Yep.
But if I want to continue what I'm gonna do I get another van for $700 to $900?
Are you able to find one?
No, not for that price. Fuck no.
Yeah.
So it's either pay to get that fixed or not have a van, which is
Or
probably
pay
the smart
$5,000
move.
for a new one.
But Jesus Christ, man, I don't know how I'm gonna deal if I don't at least have that relief.
Mm-hmm.
What about just
Because-
keeping a trailer somewhere?
And attach it to what, Aaron?
Yeah. Yeah, you might need to just
Do you remember
bite the
how
bullet.
sad I was when you motherfuckers fucked with my truck? Can you imagine how sad I was when I had to sell the fucking thing?
When did we fuck with your truck? You
The
talking about the
cotton balls, dickhead.
Yeah.
I
I
didn't do
hate
that.
you all forever.
You know, the only one I knew about was the door handle.
Not my truck. Just got over the emotional trauma of losing the fucking thing.
No, you might have to just
I literally said, why don't you dig up my cat's fucking corpse and fuck with that too, assholes? Because it was the same week I lost my cat. I had to go out there and put a bullet in my fucking cat's head.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nope,
there
I
you
wasn't
go.
part of that. Mhm.
No, you weren't. It was Dan who I emotionally and I didn't physically, but I emotionally and verbally abused. And
Dean.
well, Dean likes abuse.
Yeah, no, but I mean, Dean was in on it.
Oh, Dean was in on it, but the person who knew how to fuck with me was Dan.
Yeah. Yeah, before that, all I did was chase you around the store with the fuzzy mittens.
Kill you. Don't you dare take advantage of my weakness.
So, I mean, that's not going to help you with women either. They like soft things.
They can like all the soft things they want. I'm going to take it off of them and put it on the floor.
You can't if you can't touch it.
I can touch it enough to get it the fuck off of them, and then I'll promptly throw it in the fucking trash. Leave naked, lady. Gee, I wonder why I'm single.
Yeah, you're not helping your case.
No, I'm not. I'm not at all. Oh, Jesus.
But yeah, I'm thinking that you might have to just break down and get the thing fixed. Just pay for it.
I already did. Took care of it. My I mean, pay for it means I have the money for it, and that's not what it is. My parents are giving me the money, and I really hate doing that because I hate being financially obligated to my parents. I have never in my life, well, never since I moved out of my parents' house, asked them for money. I've had to twice in the last year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
I hate doing that.
I wouldn't have even gotten to that point where I could accept that if it wasn't for the fact that my dad is dying.
Mm-hmm.
It's a point where I got to go, whatever. And I maxed out my credit card for the part.
Mm-hmm.
So that's at least taken care of. But I still got to pay the fucking mechanic.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have this backyard guy who's got his own little shop, it would have cost me twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And in which case it wouldn't have been happening at all.
Mm-hmm.
But he did a fuck ton of work on it. And now I got an opportunity. One of the things I use the van for is a side business where I'll come and haul away your trash for $30 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Have there been any bites on that?
Yep.
Okay.
About a month into the COVID-19 thing, a guy flips houses for a living.
Mm-hmm.
He contractors redid his whole place, but they had canceled all the services for dropping roll-offs.
Mhm.
So they had put all the construction debris into the garage. He needed to show the house. So he paid me $150 to go out to the west side of Cleveland. And it took me a long time to clean out this garage of shit. And because I live in an apartment with access to the dumpster, I don't have to pay for dumping. I just put it in the dumpster.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I'm reasonable about it, no one will bitch.
Why didn't you take it to the scrapyard if it was all metal?
It wasn't all metal, it was junk.
Oh.
It was wood pieces and other construction debris, drywall, dirt. There was
Worthless
some
shit.
bits of metal, and I set that aside to scrap. But the scrap yards were fucking closed too for most of that.
Yeah.
I did get a major scrap haul in once they opened because my van was full of it. And another thing, I did that. Somebody has hired me. Well, someone hasn't paid me yet for it, but they're interested in me coming. They had a shed that was damaged in one of our recent storms. It got crushed.
Mm-hmm.
They need me to remove it.
Hmm.
So I'm basically just going to take the pieces apart. and put them, and it was full of shit too, so that needs to go too.
Mhm.
And they have offered me $300, and boy, would that go a long way to paying that fucking mechanic. But it's out in
Yeah.
Ashtabula.
Yeah.
So I'll drive the van out for that. And when they shut down the Salvation Army, can you guess what people were still fucking doing?
Donating. I've
Yeah.
seen it.
Yeah.
Even though it was illegal. In fact, I watched somebody do it in the pouring rain when they were closed.
Yep.
Mhm.
So I came to one of those crime situations where I'm a dumpster diver, and that's technically illegal in Mentor.
Yeah.
Especially because you have to go on private property to do it.
Mhm.
Mhm. Well, in most places anymore, it's illegal.
Yeah. So I just went back there and started filling my van up and said, oh, fuck it, I'll throw it away. And
Mhm.
picked out the metal from that. And a few bits and pieces here I put on Facebook Marketplace. I found out a few weeks into doing it that they were still sending the trucks down from Cleveland
Mhm.
to actually pick the shit up. But if the stuff wasn't in all those cardboard bins, the guys wouldn't pick up anything that wasn't in the, they would lay out cardboard bins that are normally stored inside.
Yeah.
Like big Gaylords that you would put a forklift into and then put them on the truck, and they're storing them in downtown Cleveland and filling up their warehouse where they can't sell it. And because it's been raining and it's all outside, most of it's trash. They just got to throw it away.
And it's all
If they
contaminated.
weren't doing that, they would have this gigantic rat-infested mess there.
Mhm.
So I actually came down and I started cleaning it up. Anything I didn't want to take, I threw in the bins, or if it was trash, I put it in my truck and throw in my van and throw it away.
Mhm.
Unless, of course, it was raining hard, in which case everything in the bins are trash anyways.
Yeah.
But I would pick it up in bits and pieces and throw the clothing that was still good in the bins. I found out 3 weeks into it that a couple of times there was a homeless guy sleeping in the bin, but I think I scared him away.
Mm.
One of the former workers came up there and told me about it because he brought the guy a pizza.
Mhm.
But when I rolled up on the situation, there was a dude picking through the metal. And I just said, hey, can I help you? I'm one of the employees. And I'd show up looking official. I have a big white van.
Mhm.
I wasn't dressed in a uniform, but I would have my pay stub on me just in case I got stopped.
Mhm.
Because I was technically an employee. I'm not anymore. And made it look official. Not once was I bothered, ever. I had some guys from the Speedway across the street yell at me and say they're closed. And I said, I'm an employee, dickhead. I had a couple of Hispanic fellows in, a pickup truck with a muffler that was falling off of it, kind of stop and stare and look at the stuff, knowing exactly what they were going to do, and then drive away because they saw me there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I literally had people stop there and try to donate stuff, and I'd look at them and go, this is illegal, it's closed. I had one woman do it when I wasn't looking behind my back because I was tied up filling up a bin.
Mhm.
It was pouring fucking rain. And I watched her drop it on the ground and get in her car and drive away. I'm like, you fucking cunt.
Mhm.
Jesus, I wouldn't normally call a woman that, but she earned that title.
Mhm.
So, lots of currents, man. And the motherfucking Dollar Tree, Jesus, man. I used to pick through Big Lots trash because they would throw away everything that was past the Best Buy date because
Yeah.
they absolutely, without consequence, would throw everything away because they weren't allowed to donate it because they were paranoid of litigation.
Yeah.
And I would come home with fucking truckloads of shit. Dollar Tree. Everyone was gearing up for this gigantic Easter this year.
Yeah.
Nobody sold any goddamn thing.
Mhm.
Most stuff for Easter was sold the day before because people were holding off, thinking they were going to have an Easter. And the last day comes around and they go, oh, fuck, we're not. So I guess we'll do what we can and rush to the dollar store
Mhm.
Mhm.
or the grocery store. Most of it was sold there, but without having sold it for the month beforehand, almost everything that came in for Easter. Now imagine in Dollar Tree, an entire aisle, front to back, filled with stuff. It's
Yep.
still in the back.
Mhm.
They haven't given us enough hours to even put it away.
Mm.
So it's in the way of the shit that we're supposed to actually be selling.
It's a good
But-
business model.
You can't store the candy for the whole year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They told us to throw away literally 5 or 6 skids, 8 foot high, to the floor of candy. Me and 2 guys took it to most of the fucking Goodwills, and that's why Aaron got this gigantic amount of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Feel
Yeah,
free to share, Aaron.
I actually did eat a thing of Peeps.
You
Have
ate
you
one
guys-
thing of Peeps out of all that?
Well, have you seen The Good Place?
No.
It's a show where they go to the afterlife and everything. There's one episode though where this guy has a complete mental breakdown. He's a moral philosophy professor, and he just has this breakdown in season 3. And he goes to his lecture. He's got a big thing of chili on the thing, and he's putting peas like you put the peeps in the chili and you mix it all in the
And
chili.
that's
Add the M&Ms, and it makes
that's
it
what you did.
bad. No. No, but I was sitting there singing that when I picked it up. When I picked up that box for you, I'm like, "You put the peeps in the chili." In.
I'm more amazed that you have all that candy and only 8 peeps. You have a lifetime supply of fucking candy.
I know. I ate one thing of peeps because I took my blowtorch and I caramelized the stuff in there. Because normally I don't like peeps. So
Jesus, man, I tried to do that today, and I realized my fucking blowtorch is at Ingenuity. I've got they make stuffed marshmallows with like
Oh.
chocolate inside of them.
Uh-huh.
So, but then I bit into it and realized the chocolate in the middle isn't gooey; it's hard.
Yep. So you got to melt it. and
So
warm it up.
it's made for s'mores. So I don't have my blowtorch. I'm like, God damn me, and my trying to be safe for my fucking kid. I pulled out a
Yep.
grill lighter.
Mhm.
It takes way longer, and then I reach in my pocket for the lighter I normally keep on me. I left it at my mother's.
Yeah, see, I've got one of those 4-burner cigar lighters, and I've got to figure out what's going on with that thing because it doesn't like to stay lit. So I'm sitting there.
So, in the midst of last Christmas of my brother being a psychopath, I thought it was a cute idea to give him somebody's entire 1970s collection of matches.
Uh-huh.
Think a printer paper box filled to the fucking brim with matches,
Like long matches, like candle matches, or small ones.
like paper book matches. Somebody had been collecting them since the 1970s. I cleaned out a house that somebody had lived in since the 50s.
They're not worth anything.
Yeah,
No, probably not.
They might
But
be if
I
you
thought
can find the right collector.
I thought it was more funny is that I always collect lighters that I find in all the shit that I get because I use them, but I don't smoke. So I have this huge collection of lighters that are half used.
Mm-hmm.
It's a joke in my family that my fucking brother loses his lighter if he turns his back all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I took this box and filled it with every fucking lighter I had and wrapped it for Christmas. So I just literally gave a psychopath hundreds of books of matches and flammable objects.
Mm-hmm.
His wife was really pissed at me.
Enabler.
He's like, this motherfucker's gonna burn our house down, you asshole.
Well, I mean, you didn't have any bottles of STP in there.
Not this time. No, I'm out of those. Remember we burned an entire barrel of them once?
Yeah.
That shit burns hot.
Mm-hmm.
We could have fucking melted metal in that shit.
We did.
Or we soaked a fucking sofa, recliner in it in my yard and set it on fire.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the many Destructicons. That was when the guy from Olive Garden showed up with the big fucking assault rifle looking things.
Oh God, yeah.
I am glad he never showed again. That guy wasn't mentally stable. I didn't mind him being there smashing a few things, but when he brought those fucking guns, man, I was like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was shortly thereafter we stopped just blatantly mentioning guns.
Yeah, he might have. I would not be surprised if he ended up at one of those Capitol protests.
No, I ran into him not too long ago. I think he wasn't allowed to keep the guns anymore.
Oh, shocker.
Like he got sent to a mental hospital and the cops confiscated them.
Hmm.
Which, wish that would have really been effective for my uncle.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, I'm enjoying his van. I even broke it for him. Oh, Christ. Good times, man. Good times. I broke, also the fuel pump went on the Buick, $400.
Yeah. That's when you said you had to get to the bank, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I needed to get some shit around so I could afford it. And I figured it out. I actually was able to pay that off with the stimulus check.
Mm-hmm.
$800 for rent, $400 for the Buick, and I'm broke again.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But eBay's been pretty good to me lately. People have been buying a bunch of shit from the fucking stimulus check, and I've been picking bits and pieces. Now, my Salvation Army thing's done because they're open now. So even if I wanted to do that, they're taking all the shit inside. There isn't large piles of shit that's rotting out there anymore. So I can't very loosely morally justify stealing from them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Oh, this is Sunday.
Yes, it is.
I keep thinking, because I'm off tomorrow. I'm not used to that. Well, I guess I should be used to it. I was off for 5 months.
Yeah. I was pretty much off for the last couple months.
I can't sit still. I was busier then than I ever was working.
Yeah. See, the thing is that, you know, when it comes to projects, I have a lot of things on my mind that I want to do, but when it comes to actually doing it, I'll just try and find something else to occupy my time instead of doing that, because I don't know where to start.
Somewhere.
Yeah, that's a
That's the
really common like anxiety procrastination symptom.
Yeah.
thing I did with when I'm writing the script. It's like, where do I start? And have you ever watched John Oliver, where he's
Mhm.
talking about where does it end? Where does it end? Fucking somewhere.
Yeah.
So that's kind of just what I've been saying to myself.
You know,
Yeah.
I had this, I didn't discover this, and I've lost it since college kind of a bit, because, you know, I told you about the analog renaissance, and I'm like hiring people to write the stories I don't have the time to write. And Aaron, you were right when you said you're just not allotting it for that.
Mhm.
It's part that too, is like, where do I start part, right? Like, I'll write down a million ideas, but won't physically put it together into like a linear story.
Mhm.
I discovered this in college. When I first started college, I kind of thought the process of writing a term paper was weird, because I would literally just hodgepodge assemble a bunch of stuff on the internet and rewrite it in a different way, which is, you know, is kind of how you write a term paper.
Mhm.
My last 2 years of college, I didn't discover it until my last year of college, of how to really effectively write a term paper that's in your own words. And I discovered it. I literally just word spew.
Mhm. That's
That
that sounds a
would have
lot
been,
like
if I had discovered that early on, I could have wrote much better papers that actually had like opinions of mine that I would have thought were valid, as opposed to just regurgitating the information out there.
yeah. That reminds me of like Dave would tell me about when he would write his essays and term papers. He's like, I just go on a rant and ramble. I don't even think I'm still writing about the process anymore, but I passed. I got an A. He's like,
So, and that's what I didn't figure out until like, and of course, my last 2 years of college, I was actually an English tutor. And I think
Mhm.
it's somewhere in there, like being bored so long and writing bloggy type Facebook shit,
Mhm.
is, as opposed to like, what is my paper about? Okay, like I know the basic structure, like here's your thesis and your 3 supporting points and your 3 bits of evidence, right?
Yeah.
Outline style. I would go on the internet and pull it all up and see what it said, and that's how I would assemble the paper, is based on what was already out there and provable.
Mhm.
When it was, I guess part of it too was the college thing. It wasn't until I'm almost done where they stop expecting you to do that and say, just tell us your opinion of this thing.
Mhm.
We don't need you to prove it all. We want to know what you've learned from everything you've done so far.
Yeah.
So I had a few papers where this is what I would do. I'd sit down and I would ramble. Like you just said, ramble and rant. Then I would edit.
Yep.
Then I go back and look on the internet for the information to support what I was saying already. And it
Mhm.
became such a much better paper because I no longer had to work to fill the page count or minimum. I had it there long ago. I actually had to work to cut my own words out to say what I already wanted to say, but here's a piece of evidence from an official source that says the same thing.
Mhm.
Like, this is what I think, and blah, 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 blah. And then I would go online and say, so-and-so from Stanford University said blankety blank. I'm like, cool. He's going to say what I already wrote down there. So I'm going to take out the part I wrote and use his words instead.
Mhm.
That's something I should do for the stories. And you could see
Mhm.
evidence in it in a few small bits of the stories I would write, or like some of the more prosy poems. The Moment is a really
Yeah.
good one. And the Relics, they're actually have stories to them, as opposed to me just bitching about being depressed and suicidal.
Mhm.
So that is a process that I've gotten away from that I very well could still be doing. Like I started a blog for a little bit and did a little bit of that, but didn't keep up with it.
Yeah.
And part of it's time too, you know, taking care of kids and other shit.
Mhm.
And I got into making the books for Beautiful Blasphemy because I could not stay there doing the work I got paid for all the time. I spent more than half of the day fucking off.
Mhm.
If I did it at the speed I was capable of, I would do way more work than I would ever want, and they would expect that all the time. That
Yep.
was my justification.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one is I was way more interested in doing my own shit. How can I sneak doing that into doing their work and still get paid for it and not get caught. I got caught more than I thought. And it really, really helped that when I left that last job, I was friends with the IT person that had to clean out my computer.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was one of the good things.
He
when it
found a
came
ton
to-
of shit that I would have been fired 6 times over for. None of it was bad. It was more that I was doing all this instead of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'd be times when at Gabriel where that's when I was doing detectives. I was doing the voice of Rob Fire. We'd be doing these hold times where it's like 10 hours. You just take hourly readings. So you do your readings, then you can go fuck off and do whatever. So I'd go off into the other room where it was quiet and I'd record my voice samples. And
Well,
I'd record my
your
lines.
work allowed you to fuck off. My work expected me to work constantly.
Yeah. But, they'd always be like, oh, well, you could always do this. No, I've got readings. I've got to watch and make sure this isn't going on. Now I got my readings. I'm going to go and record my lines.
Yep. I'm just waiting for you to finish up what you got out that way and come back this way again so I can hang out with you more.
Uh-huh.
I want to get the excuse of having all my shit off your property. So you're like, well, you don't have to worry about Ryan anymore. Really, I just want to take the responsibility of my shit off of your hands. I don't
Yeah.
want you to still have my shit be your problem.
Mhm.
So I'm working on it. I promise you I'm working on it. It's just a lot harder than I thought. Now, if there's an emergency situation, you're like, by the way, I don't own this anymore. I'm like, well, fuck, what do I do now? Trying to not have that situation happen.
Yeah, things are still up in the air, at least until July.
Well, I figure with COVID, even if you were in like, by the way, we're foreclosing on your house tomorrow, I have a feeling COVID would have said, we're going to just wait.
Yeah.
Because even if we foreclose on your house, nobody's going to buy it.
Yeah, we're in negotiations right now. It was supposed to go until June. That was the deadline, but the courts are like, well, we're extending it because
Yeah,
we're
we're not going to do any of that right now.
Yeah.
Plus, if they look at the physicalities of your property, they go, we don't really need to rush on kicking him out of this.
Yeah.
Because it was abandoned for how long before you got to it?
A couple of years, something like that. And there's even more that's going on out here where things are just breaking.
It's in your best interest. It's in their best interest to try to keep you there.
Yeah, I know that.
I don't think it's in yours. And I think, in my personal opinion, is you're waiting on your last kid to get through school.
It's yeah, that's part of it there. But I would if it weren't for the people that bought the lot across from us. Now you've got the neighbors across the next door that you can hear them at all hours of the night screaming and having bonfires. Now you got people across the hall that are shooting guns and blowing up tannerite.
I got a story for that.
Tannerite. What's that?
Tannerite? Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus, man. One of the things, being this much closer to Cleveland, and Mentor is as close as I can get with my level of tolerance for a city. But Jesus, man, the noise from the other people living here.
Mm-hmm.
We had the couple above who had a young daughter, and a baby. Never made the amount of fucking noise as this guy who lives above me with his 2 fucking gorilla clomping kids. And I have to watch saying the word gorilla because he's black with a white wife. Because twice in the last month I've been accused of being racist.
Yeah,
Not
I heard
because
about
of him.
one of those.
Not because of him. They're loud and noisy as fuck. And then this guy, I should not know the fact that he's screaming at the top of his lungs that he caught his wife cheating some other dude, or cheating and texting some other dudes. I should not have been woken up at 12 and waited a half an hour for them to shut the fuck up and then called the police because they were screaming at the top of their lungs because she's cheating on him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I shouldn't have had him screaming on her when she came back to get his shit and then hear him sobbing uncontrollably for an hour afterwards. They are, without a doubt, the rudest, most noisiest motherfuckers. They cannot even walk around above me without making a ton of fucking noise. And then a few weeks before all this shit went down, their fucking kids up there playing on the patio, sticking their head out the window with a goddamn kazoo, and then they drop shit off the fucking patio. I'm in my kitchen cooking. All I heard is all this fucking noise and these kids screaming. And then they come down the stairs and I hear them screaming on my balcony.
Uh-huh.
So I looked out the fucking door and said, hey, stop screaming. And closed it and went in. Their father comes and bitches at me. Apparently the kids locked themselves out the fucking security door. They came down because they dropped something off the fucking their patio above me onto mine. Which I found another bottle of their bubbles underneath my car today for the same reason.
Nice.
They're constantly dropping shit off. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what if one of us are sitting on the porch? You're screaming and yelling. If my fucking kid had been here, Not a lot of overnights right now. I would have gone up the stairs and told you to shut the fuck up, but I really didn't want to get shocked.
Mm.
I'm kind of waiting for the day that I hear the guy shoot himself. But yeah, he comes there screaming at me because I yelled at his girls for locking out. I said sorry to the girls because if I knew they were locked out, I would have let them in.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be a dickhead to kids, but all I hear is this noise and I'm distracted. I'm busy.
Mm.
Jesus Christ, you are the most obnoxious fuckers ever. So there you go. You're terrible neighbors. Really loud and nosy. I'm getting tired. And before the weeks leading up to them getting broken, I had to hear him in his squeaky ass bed fucking her 5 or 6 times a day. And he wasn't a quick guy. Apparently he liked to last a while and be very loud about it.
Yeah, she was still cheating on him.
Sure. But I didn't need to be woken up with it at 4 a.m., dude.
Actually, who knows if that was actually him?
Don't know. Don't care. Pretty sure it was him. I could hear his voice. His room's directly above mine.
Yeah, that's true. That is the thing
Yeah.
about cookie cutter apartments.
Yeah, cool. I get really happy when people move out of here, which happens every month. Someone else either moves out or gets evicted. One, the trash dumpster is full of their shit. And 2, that's less noise.
Mm.
I got really spoiled by living out in the fucking woods for, cornfield for 10 years, 13 years.
Yep. The meadow.
But, I had all the space and all the resources, all the studio space basically to make whatever I want, couldn't do shit with it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until I came this way that I could actually do anything with any of the shit I'm making.
What?
Yeah. Andre had
Well, put it back in the
approached
fridge,
me
then.
about using the land out here to farm food and all that. And I'm like, because I brought it up before, I'm like, I've got the land, but I don't have the time or the patience or anything like that. So he's like, maybe I could bring some people out there. We could do like a co-op sort of thing. It's like, yeah, I'd have to vet people. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you're gonna miss that too. Your area out there is a sanctuary, but the same problem. I know you love the property, but you can't do anything you want to do being where you're at.
Well,
So, I don't know. Like if I had been able to keep my Austenburg property but still kind of live in Mentor, I would have done that.
yeah.
At least I'd have that escape. But couldn't. And that house was really hard to maintain by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I got to
Yeah,
get
you
up
had a lot
to
bigger of a house. I've got a glorified apartment.
Yeah, and your house is old and busted up too, though. It's not great.
Well, the additions are old and busted up. The rest of it's okay.
All right, I'll be back in a second.
Yeah.
Although we should probably think about wrapping up soon.
Yeah, I was thinking
Yeah.
the same thing. My legs are getting sore from being pinned in this confined space. I need to reorganize after this so I can sit here for longer.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping not to have to worry about having the kids, but she only wanted them for a couple days because she has to be up super early for work in the morning.
Oh.
Because she hasn't had them for multiple days at a time, whereas I've had them every fucking day.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I really enjoyed the silence around here for 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh, I can't have it for months. Damn.
Yeah, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are my favorite days, and that's going to be switching up soon.
Well, see, now we have to kind of try and figure out some other kind of schedule because her schedules are made months in advance. I have no actual schedule other than my Twitch channel.
Yeah.
Try and get that going. So it's like I'm stuck with them. I might as well just have full custody of them. But
Well,
because of the fact that we're still technically married, it's like,
that wasn't fixed earlier?
No, we never actually filed for the paperwork to go through fully. Because once we actually did have the paperwork put together and we were about to file, all this shit happened. Everything got shut down, everybody got sick, and especially with her having the symptoms and shit. She had a quarantine off, and it's like, okay, great. Well, now we're kind of screwed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and as things are right now, it's like, for the time being, might as well just stay married, and just deal. You know.
Well, I mean, you're gonna have issues with tying up each other's assets at that point. So I mean, you only want to keep that going as long as necessary.
Yeah. Well, I mean, once this whole thing is all said and done, you know, the quarantine and lockdown is completely over with, which won't be until like next year. I'm looking to file because the court charged her $100, even though we never actually did go through with it yet. It's like we were going to pay that up front, you know, just to be able to stand in front of the judge and say we both agree to, you know, take care of the kids and leave each other alone. That's the settlement. That's all we want.
Yeah.
Just nullify the damn, you know, marriage and be done with it.
Yeah.
So we just have to wait until it's over so we can go back into a courthouse and be done with it. So, and I told her I'll pay for it. I have no problems. You know, I mean, you know, at the time, because of the fact that I was working and, you know, I wasn't making all that much money, it's like, well, you know, we can go halves. You know, I can afford $50, and you can do the other 50. We'll just split it down the middle and be done with it. But now it's like, well, she's being charged $100, and you know, because of the fact that we have to refile because our case was dismissed because we didn't get it, you know, to the judge in time. It's like, so now I have to do it all over again. It's like, I'll just pay for it and be done with it. You know, we're both representing each other or ourselves, so it's like, here's my money, here's the paperwork. Let's just end it.
Yeah.
So, hopefully, we can get this done sooner rather than later, but. It's going to take some getting. Huh?
I was saying that'd be good.
No. And then I'm looking for another place to live too because I need to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
You need to not be so close to your mother.
Exactly. I mean, I am so fucking sick of it. And we need to get Gabriel away from her too.
Is that going to cause a big problem with actual childcare though? Like people watching your kid?
No. Gabriel is old enough, he can be left alone to watch the kids. But
Okay.
I don't
I wouldn't
fully trust him to do so for longer than maybe 2 hours.
I wouldn't even trust her for that long. I mean, he's only 10,
Yeah.
11. Yeah, he's 10
Well, the
now.
thing is that he's got his own Facebook account because mom lied for him.
Yeah, I know. Tracy did the same thing for Dante, and that's there for communication only. That's it.
Gabriel constantly, you know, uses it for getting a hold of me. But it's like, okay, you have the tablet and everything. You're right downstairs. You should be up here.
Yeah.
You know, just come upstairs. But, you know, no. Mom's like, well, who's his doctor? You know, and where does he go? What kind of conditions does he have? I'm like, you keep blocking me off from that shit. How the hell am I supposed to know?
Well,
So it's like, no. Once all this shit's said and done, you know, I'm gonna find my own place away from here, and he's coming with me.
yeah.
Okay.
Is he making the noises in the background?
What's that?
Is that one of the two kids making the noise in the background?
Yeah, that was Vincent. He was explaining about something they did in the game.
Oh.
But no, it's like because mom said that, you know, mom told me that once everything, you know, once Alyssa and I are fully legally divorced, mom's fighting me for custody of Gabriel. Like, no,
Go,
Your
not gonna
mother?
happen.
go ahead.
Why would she think she's entitled to that?
Because he lives with her and she knows everything about him and she's taking care of him and everything. Like, you stole him from us.
Yeah, and that'll open up a whole can of worms. If she wants, you can't do that for just one kid. It'll call everything into question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because of the fact that he's the favorite.
No,
My,
I'm saying that she can't sit there and say, I'm going to pick this one, because if one goes, they're going to call into question the other three. And if all three or all four aren't going to go, well, then what's going on? It'll just be a waste of time and money.
Yeah, and it's like, no, he is my son. You cannot have him. Alyssa and I are going to be doing the back and forth with all four of them. You can go to hell.
Mm.
Yeah. All right. Let me tell you what I think part of that is. Hey, Aaron, remember when you were 15 and your mom took all your paychecks from your job?
She did the same thing to me.
She did that with all of us.
Yeah. Do you know how much money she gets for having a kid?
Oh,
Right
I know.
now, nothing, because right now on paper she gets nothing.
No, but if she had custody, she would. My grandmother tried this with me. She raised both of my mom's first two kids. My mom made the mistake of leaving them there, thinking they'd be better off because they had a different father. My father fought, though, and got me. My grandmother only wanted the fucking money, and because my mother was an ex-con, she thought that meant she was a better parent, or could prove she was a better parent because she had the other two kids. The state said, fuck you. Grandmothers don't have parental rights.
Yeah, I don't know if it's completely financially. I know that she would be looking for that to ease the burden, but I don't think it's fully motivated that.
No, I think you're right. I don't think it's fully that. I think part of it is a mental deficiency where she seems to think she's entitled to such a thing.
Mhm.
But I think the financial obligation is what might have tipped her over the thing. I'm better off, but also I could get this money. I
Yeah.
don't think it was the deciding factor. I think it was another benefit to her, another
No,
bonus.
it's an incentive. It's not a motivator.
Correct.
Yeah.
In my grandmother's case, it was the main motivator.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's happened. It happens a lot. And the gall of the people who think they're going to be the better parent. Yeah. Do you see how your kids turned out? You're not qualified.
Mhm.
I made the mistake of saying that to my mother and being honest last week.
Mhm.
Because I'm talking to her, she asks how my kid are, and I'm mentioning the problems we have at the school, and every fucking time she has this goddamn gall to go like, well, that's because you spoil the kid too much. You guys spoil him too much. I'm like, don't make comments about how I'm raising my fucking kid. You're not qualified.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that set her the fuck off.
Mhm.
And I'm like, do you see your kids, Mom? Your oldest never will speak to you again. Your other one moved as far the fuck away.
Mhm.
The next male. Wonder why. Both of
Yeah.
those was raised by your mother, who you let keep them. Have you met your underage, your youngest, who's got that drug-induced psychosis? And then there's me. Yeah. Have you met me? I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
Runs in the family. So you fucked up all 4 of your kids. You had 4 chances to do it, and you fucked up every single one. Any successes that I've had in my life have been in spite of you, not because of you.
Yeah. And that's
Um,
another thing. So,
So, yeah, you're not qualified to make comments on how I parent. Go fuck yourself.
yeah. So I mean, I need to. I'm looking everywhere to try and find someplace, at least far enough away from here that it's still within the district, and I don't have to worry about being put in jail for evading
Oh,
the
you could try my
responsibilities.
apartment complex. I don't know if they do Section 8, but they get pretty damn close.
I don't have Section 8.
Okay, then come to my place.
I pay
Constantly have openings.
full rent. But the thing is that because of the fact that it's the same person that owns Queensdale that owns those.
Oh, just tell them you want to transfer to the other complex.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems like it would be a
See, the
smoother
thing is that
transition.
Mom still has access.
Why would your mother have access to your place, though? If you're physically on another property, they don't have to give you the key.
She
Because
still,
the place-
but she
The
would,
place is
she
not
would,
professionally run.
she would still have access
Right.
as to what I'm doing.
There were some cheaper places over there, like in that little underpass area by the 615 bridge that goes over the tracks.
Yeah.
There's
What
some
about-
like places over there.
What about Menor Square? But that's Fairfax's district.
Are you talking about my old apartments?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't.
I don't know. They were revamping them before.
Fairfax Manor
Yeah,
over by
when I
Manor
went to
Village?
look for my apartment here, man, no, they're worse.
No, well,
They just
no,
look prettier on the outside, but Jesus, man, no.
Yeah.
no. The
I
place
was looking at Manor Mall Village, and also Park House, but at the same time, it's like it seems like it'd be a decent place, but I need to get the hell away from get out of an apartment. I'm trying to find a house.
Well, if you're gonna rent a house, Mentor on the Lake is cheaper than where you're at.
Yeah, I know.
The more
I've
north
seen a
you go in
couple.
Mentor, the more expensive it is.
Yeah, and I don't want that. I need to find something. I saw a couple houses like 3 and 4 bedrooms for like.
You're willing.
like-
If it has to be Mentor, then go Mentor on the Lake. But if you're willing to go to Painesville, you're gonna get a lot cheaper.
Yeah,
He's
well,
trying to stay in the same
Alyssa
school
told me
district.
she could move me into her apartment complex.
No, that sounds great.
I
It's like-
think that would be a bad idea.
Yeah, it's like but see the thing is that when this whole thing started, it would have been possible for her to move back into these apartments because she didn't really have any problems.
Yeah, that's,
But the thing is that I stopped her from moving in here.
yeah. You don't want that much proximity or that little proximity between the two of you.
True, but at the same time, it kind of would have been a little bit easier on all of us. Not necessarily on Mom.
No,
But-
yeah, but I think we've established you don't care about that.
yeah.
No, I need to get the hell away from her.
There was a time that Tracy had offered that I move into her spare bedroom because it would be easier. And you know what
Yeah.
I said? No.
I mean, the thing is that it would have been easier because, to transfer the kids back and forth, it wouldn't have been, drive all the way out there, drive all the way back, or whatever. It would just be, okay, go over there. If they give you any problems, bring them over here. If they give me any problems, I'll send them over there. And we just trade back and forth that way. But because of the fact that, we're still in this complex, it would be a major hassle. So it's like, no, I need to find a house that I don't have to worry about, nosy neighbors or anything, and I can go ahead and, be away from mother. That's the main issue right here, is just to get as far away from her as possible and take the kids with me.
Mm.
So I found a couple houses that are relatively nice, but I don't know how the whole, first time home renter buyer type thing would work. Because I've never done any of that shit before.
Why don't you just call some of the like JFS people that your case manager or whatever and ask them those questions?
I would, if I would ever actually get off my ass and get around to it.
Hey, yeah, do that.
You could do it while streaming.
Yeah, isn't that part of our like monthly Denny's day is for me to tell you get off your ass and go do shit?
Yeah, probably.
Hey, get off your ass and go do shit.
Yeah, and that's the kind of shit that I need to do during my stream too, is to actually converse and talk about what's on my mind. But I can't do that because I have this overwhelming nagging fear in the back of my head of my mother standing over my shoulder. It pisses me off to no end. That's why I'm silent during my streams. And I really wish I could actually just get her to go the fuck away, and I would be able to open my mouth and say, this is how I'm feeling today. But I can't do that because of her.
Yeah.
Why does she watch?
I don't know. It's a possibility. She might. She follows it on Twitter, on Facebook. It's possible she might go, and use the link one day just to go see what I'm doing.
So I would just say whatever the fuck you want, and when the day she catches you, just ignore it. The end.
Yeah, I know that. But see, the thing
it won't be the end, but still.
It won't. But
my parents still bitch at me to this day about a poem I wrote calling out all my family for being assholes at Christmas.
And that's my problem. I have this overwhelming fear of her because of the fact that I'm in such close proximity to her.
Okay.
That she could just march her fat ass up the goddamn stairs and beat the shit out of me because she doesn't like something I say.
All right.
Well, then you call the cops.
Yeah, that's a thing. That's doable.
And especially to the fact she has a key to my apartment is another fucking problem.
Well,
call the cops and also go. Yeah. That's called domestic abuse. They have helplines for that too.
Yeah.
You should do that. It's not just for women who get beat. So do that. But I would start with your case manager and then mention there's domestic abuse. I've actually seen a lot more support recently on those hotlines because of COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are quarantining in places with the people that are beating the shit out of them. And they used to get their break by going to work. But guess what they can't do?
Yeah. So.
But the guys are still at home, or the women, drunk and all that other bullshit. So I would recommend calling one of those places, but also call your case manager and say, hey, I'm not safe where I'm at. What are the options for finding another place?
Mm.
If you mention the not safe where I'm at aspect, they might get you a little more fast-tracked.
I don't have any cereal. I'm sorry. In a little bit. But yeah,
we mentioned a while ago we were supposed to be rounding this up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I'm glad you got some shit out.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's generally how it goes, is that I stay silent. Yeah, and that's the main problem with my stream too, is that I'll watch them back, and I'll like when I'm playing cards, I'll be saying like a couple things here and there about the plays that have been made or something, and it's like, wow, this is boring as fuck. I'm never gonna watch myself. So
that was part of the reason I mentioned the Jason Mewes too, because I think you could easily adopt some of his persona that way. It's rambling, and he never shuts the fuck up.
Yeah.
But if you found a happy midway point, at least it's a start, right?
Yeah.
I thought maybe if you watched him, it could be something where you go, oh, he's talking about useless shit, but yet he's still going on.
Yeah, because
still going.
And that's
he's
something
still fucking going.
Yeah, and that's something I actually want to be able to do, but it's the damn filter, you're not allowed to say this, you're not allowed to talk about that. Don't say anything. So it's like I basically just shut the hell up.
Yeah,
play
Aaron's
the cards.
about to post me talking a lot of shit about people, so yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I
So,
am.
I mean,
I mean, aren't you the one who's posting this thing?
Yeah, but there is an edit feature.
No, don't edit me. I don't give a shit.
As it is, I've been recording you guys on separate tracks, so
yeah,
there's
Oh,
that.
well, I'm recording you, period, on whatever way Zoom lets you as a
that's
backup.
what I'm doing too.
Zoom
So
lets you
I'll just
record on
straight
separate
record.
tracks. There's an
And
option.
we can do the usual Google Drive re-upload so Aaron has his redundancies.
Yeah.
So I
Just
can
in
have
case
my
something fucks
But
up,
the
Aaron,
thing
with
is
your
that
fancy shit.
So I
for
can
my
have
channel,
two
because
copies of
Mom
the
has
mesh?
watched my YouTube channel before. If I were to upload this to YouTube, she would see it, and then she'd really come after me. So I have to edit all my shit out.
Yeah, you should really contact one of those domestic abuse things. It can probably get you a place quicker.
Yeah.
And maybe like do some things like waive or give the security deposit or some of the other financial barriers.
Obligations.
I was going to say obligations, but in your case, I think it's a barrier.
Yeah.
Like even if you do move to another place, like let's say a house, because you
Mhm.
have how many kids,
Yeah.
that is going to be harder for you to do because it costs more money.
Yeah. And that you need like a security deposit for each child, probably.
And you'd have to have a savings and whatever. And
Yeah, and I don't have a
So-
whole hell of a lot to work with, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to save up from the unemployment as much as I can, because I have right now everything is paid up through the summer. Once August is over, I have to start paying again on all my bills. So I'm trying to save up as much as I can to try and get to like $3 or $4 grand to be able to put something down. So I don't have to
understand.
worry
Yeah.
about
I see you have a kid there. Do you need to take care of her?
Alina's
Please do.
constantly got to be bitching and moaning that she's hungry at the worst times.
Yeah, try some of the domestic abuse ones and mention that, or just contact your caseworker and say, here's the situation, and maybe they'll know the right place to go.
Hmm.
I mean, finding out information has always been my strong suit, and usually the easiest part of it is just ask dumb questions.
Yeah.
And you may not get the right answer the first 5 or 6 times, but they'll keep pointing you closer and closer to it.
Yeah.
There's got to be something, and they are ramping up extra support for those programs because of COVID-19.
Mhm. Now, there's a lot of things that are getting a lot more support, especially because of like suicide prevention, because people are going nuts with all
No
the
kidding.
isolation. Okay, all right.
All right.
Jason,
might
feel
as
free to
well.
sign off. We should wrap this up.
Yeah, all right.
All right, go take care of your kids. Enjoy the whatevers.
Yep. I will see y'all. When you plan on doing this again?
We'll probably do it monthly like we used to,
Okay.
just more closely on the usual last Sunday of the month schedule until we're allowed to do it in public.
Yeah. What about that reading that you had going on for Beautiful Blasphemy and all that? Is that like
It's every other Thursday. I don't think it's this coming Thursday. We have a special trans one that may change up the schedule a bit. Go to our Facebook page. It's an event
Okay. Yeah.
for Beautiful Blasphemy.
All right. I'll check that out.
Cool.
All right. See you later.
All right.
All right, there
Aaron?
he goes. All right,
Yep.
so I guess I'll stop recording.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll hit stop recording too on my end.
All right, let's
Oh,
see.